Lewis.
Who you talking about? Jimmy Witherspoon? Nobody knew who he was.
Lewis.
Jimmy.
Who's this Jimmy?
Lewis.
Jimmy.
Who's this Jimmy?
Jimmy Lewis.
Who's this Jimmy?
Lewis.
Who's this Jimmy?
Lewis.
Just kept on going.
Live from Pahrump, Nevada, the Valley of the Dirt People, it's Tech Talk Taco Tuesday with your host, Jimmy, Heather McNabb, Lewis.
Live right now.
And we have Logan in here too. So, but he doesn't get as much of an intro as I just did. How awesome was that, Logan?
That was.
Who should I?
I don't know.
Who should I? You don't know?
I think it was good.
Yeah, you don't know why it was so
Different.
good. Welcome to Tech Talk Taco Tuesday, everybody. It's Tuesday. Let's see, we got that one out of the bag. It's show where we talk about talk
Dirt bikes and dirt bike related products.
and cats
Yeah.
and unboxing things.
Yep.
And we're gonna make a stupid video, which is probably which we do every week. But we're gonna try to give you a little bit of education on your motorcycle questions, which you have asked on our Facebook page. You've made comments on our YouTube videos and sent us emails, all of which we can answer those questions 9 out of 10 times without referring to a reference manual. Logan, what's your question?
How do you go faster?
Oh, like what? At
That was the first thing that came to mind. I don't have a
at-
question.
go faster at being prepared for the show?
Yeah.
Yeah, you read the show notes that I email you, and then
Yeah.
you formulate some sort of theories about what we're going to talk about, and then you just bring it. You bring it right here to the show, and then we talk about it. I was trying to figure out which group to share it with on the Facebooks, because I can share it live or something like that. And you told me not
Yeah.
to do it because then they'd be talking and chatting in their own thing. We
think.
do have a chat room. Donnie Grywe is in the chat room, and he says, "Hey Jimmy," and they say my mics are very quiet. B Hoop,
Working on it.
turn your volume up. Are our mics really quiet?
They were. I don't know what was going on. They were flashing like way low over here.
Well, okay.
I turned it back up. Should be good.
Yours is quiet, and yours is way
Yeah.
up there, right? Is this you? You're 3 or you're 4?
Oh, I should be the fourth one. No, that's not me.
That's not you. That's the one that's sitting over there on the table. Again, technical issues. I thought I had a really good producer here. We have some live in studio guests tonight. Bob provided us with no negative COVID test. He took his mask off. He's really causing a lot of problems around here. He's one of those guys that walks around and he's got opinions and just he's put them all over social media. And now he's ramming them down our throat. Can barely take it. So we might turn the cameras around on him. So what else is really low volume? So everybody now, people that actually know are saying it. Not that I doubted B Hoop. So yeah, we got to fix this, Matt. How about the? Oh, what about the mains? Did you churn these? How about did that change anything?
Maybe.
Let's see. In OBS, I don't want to turn it up any more than I already have.
Okay.
So let's try to turn it up on your end.
I'm gonna turn it. I can turn it up here on the main. Did you touch any of these buttons? That's the question.
0. Nope.
No buttons were touched.
I did not touch any of those buttons.
I'm trying to do in the main output, and then there's a USB output. That's an input level through. Boy, I don't know. Change the settings. How does it sound now? You can hear it. It's just not as loud as. How's it doing on the recording? Is it actually recording okay?
Yeah, we're recording.
I know, but is it recording? But that level, even that I'm looking at, what I can see.
Yeah, I know. It's recording at this level. Yeah.
Okay, which is low.
Yeah, it's low. It wasn't this low earlier.
Okay. Somebody touched something.
Yeah.
We're in trouble. I'm just gonna pump these up here.
Yep.
How's that doing there? Is that better, everybody? They'll let us know in about 5 to 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Better for me.
some people are saying better on Facebook. The levels are looking a little bit better over here. I'm still quiet for some reason, but I'm not as important here.
We're good. Okay, now that we've learned how to do a podcast live with you guys helping us learn how to do a podcast, I'm going to get rid of that. And we're going to go straight into this show is sponsored by tonight's episode. Exciting episode is sponsored by Trail Tech.
Yeah.
Not only do they make great kickstands, and like I actually had a good friend of mine call me today and go, "Hey Jimmy, what kind of kickstands do you use?" And so I told him Trail Tech. He said, "Oh yeah," because he bent his KTM kickstand, and they make those. They're good. But what they make that I've actually been testing for a while, so I know this is good, is you have the Trailtech Voyager Pro, which is the GPS unit that we use all the time. And they now make a new aluminum locking dock for it. So they used to have this plastic dock that, the unit's kind of like it comes in and out real easy, but it docks into the unit that goes on your bike. And they had some issues with those, that the dirt would get in the plastic and stuff. And you might want to move your keyboard away from your keys, away from your microphone, because I heard that, right?
Yeah.
So now they make this really Sano aluminum locking dock for your thing. It has better electrical pins, because that's how it uses, like pins that go into the back of the unit that contact. It has a better pin seal, so the seal around the pins to keep the elements out. Better water management, which means it's kind of just a piece of metal, and the only electrical part is sealed once you put it in there with the upgraded water management parts. And it has longer wire leads, which makes it easier to mount up to your bike. Because the good thing about the Voyager Pro, and I'll tell you what the best thing is, but the good thing about the Voyager Pro is it's a motorcycle-specific GPS unit. And that way you can look at your temperature, and it'll show you your RPM. So there's a tachometer. There's a lot of stuff that you can't get in some of the other GPS units. But the best thing is it has buddy tracking. And so you've used this before, right? On the tours, haven't you? No.
No,
You
I
never-
never got.
Oh, because they
But-
just expect you to follow.
Yeah.
So with buddy tracking, if your buddy has another Voyager Pro, you can see where they're at. It says, your buddy's name or whatever, the name you input, and so you can see where they're at. So what we've used it for specifically is when we're riding and there's a lot of dust, I don't have to wait at all the turns. I just keep going, and I leave a little trail, and then my buddy can follow my track, so we can kind of keep riding. And then you can also look down. You don't have to wait for them to come. You can look and see that they're still moving. And there's other thing is that you can even push a button on there and send like an emergency, like, hey, I have a problem. You push a button in emergency, and everybody else on your group, in your ride group, gets a notice that you have an emergency. And these are the things that make the Voyager Pro a really good GPS unit, especially if all your buddies have it too. So another cool thing we have on the show is we're going to give away some Preston Campbell ISDE shirts, courtesy of Mojave Bob here. He bought them in, like, actually it's by mistake, really, because he bought them and got the wrong size. I have one. I didn't steal one of these. I got one. You can hold it all the way up too, so we can see the whole thing. So Preston is currently over at the ISDE competing on a United States club team. He's actually on the District 37 National Hare and Hound team, and that's the front, and the other one's the big logo in the back. But they are extra large, so you have to be extra large to win this. And we're still looking for that first person on Twitch, right, Matt?
Yep, I am keeping a close eye on the person on Twitch.
We got to figure out who that is.
Right. Well, it doesn't give me that information unless they send a message.
Right. So if you were the first, we know who you are because we saw the thing. We wanted to hook you up with a T-shirt, and then so you guys, this is what we're going to call this contest. You design your own contest. So what you need to do is you have to make some sort of a contest where you can prove that you deserve one of those T-shirts, and then just lie to us and tell us you're extra large, and then we're gonna have Mojave Bob mail them to you. So that's how this is gonna work. Somehow we'll get your all your information and go from there. So are we ready to start doing questions, Logan?
Sure.
You ready? You got it? What's our first question?
Oh.
He's folding clothes over here. Probably doesn't do that at home, does he? Oh, yeah, that's your job? Yeah. He's supposed to keep the pool clean.
That's also my job.
Oh, that's your job, too. Yeah. Logan, what do you do?
Nothing.
Besides break
300s.
break motorcycles and crash?
Keeps
bikes broken. Okay.
Jordan Hergerston.
Right, so like when I was talking earlier, how I send these things to you so you can get them early?
Yeah.
Then you can practice not only reading the question, but getting the name right, because you start sounding like me. So it's Jordan Eberst, like that. I just sounded out. So let me say that all at once. Hubergeets. See, you sound like that.
Yeah.
You don't want to sound like that. You just want to say it like you know what you're talking about. So go ahead.
Question about bar bends. How do you pick? The internet is full of people with favorites, but little science. Is there any way to tell at how your grips wear to guide selection? For example, I always wear the grips out on the bottom inside. Pressure from the top of my thumbs outward. And the rare blister only ever comes between my thumb and index finger in the web of my hand. The problem I'm trying to reduce is hand cramps and fatigue at the end of a long race. Been working on form/body position and no longer have arm pump issues. But my hand/arm position just doesn't feel as natural as I think it should. A class GNCC/Hare Scramble Racer, 2018 KTM, 6'4", if it helps. Current favorite is Renthal Contour RC High, but planning to try something lower. I expect a plug from your riding school to teach goons like me proper form, by the way. Thanks for keeping the show going. I always enjoy the random topics and banter. Always something to learn.
This segment is brought to you by Jimmy Lewis Off Road. That's the school that I run.
Yeah.
You ever heard of it?
Yes.
Yeah. So I should just say that you should learn how to ride better, and then the bar thing goes away. But in reality, it doesn't. So I don't know of any. That's actually a really interesting question. Can you look at the grips to determine the way that your bar bends? I mean, to determine if that's the correct bar bend. And I've never really thought about that. But I suspect you could learn a lot from that. And you'll learn how you hang on. But I don't know that that's in reference to, because the minute he said, okay, I'm wearing it out kind of under the bottom and stuff, and to me that means like he's falling off the back of the bike.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where I tend to wear them out more up on the top, on the upper part, like, you know, on my index finger, kind of in that index finger knuckle, and then I also wear them pretty heavily where my pinky and small finger kind of grab on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going, well, how does that work? And so it got me thinking about this. I don't know that you could tell a ton. I mean, imagine there's some stuff you could tell about it, but it'd be interesting if you figure out what the proper bar bend is. And I know I ride with the proper bar bend, but I still wear grips out. If that would change, you know, then that would show me something, but I'd have to do, you know, that would take a little bit of time and kind of research to do that. So I find that having proper body position on the motorcycle will lend to, you know, the proper learning what the proper bar bend is. And if you have a really out of whack bar bend, it's hard to get proper body position, and then vice versa. If you have improper body position, and proper body position is simple, you're balanced. You shouldn't have to hang on the handlebars, and then your bars should just naturally be where you want to put your hands. Like we kind of say, like, you know, take your hands up like goalposts and just sort of fold them down and see if the bars kind of come in contact with, you know, where it should be. But you don't want to be falling over when you're doing this. You want to be balanced, kind of standing on the bike, and then being able to going from sitting to standing on the bike without having to push or pull on the handlebars is kind of another thing. And then it just comes down to comfort. It's like at what angle is that bar going to put your wrist in kind of a bind? And so that's the sweep of the bar to some extent, the sweep forward and back, and then there's the rise, which is the kind of the sweep up and down, and you kind of combine those two different things to get to the right thing. You know, bar height, that could be done with the actual bar itself, and or risers or ways to lower on the triple clamp. You have clamp position that plays in the thing, and your KTM has 4 positions, two clamp positions on the thing, and then the clamps can be inverted. So there's essentially 4 positions there to move it forward and back. There's a lot of little things you can do. So the way I always do it is I start with sweep, because sweep, that's kind of the bar angling, back towards you. They really rarely get straight across. That would be considered flat. More flat would be straight across, and sweep would be sweeping back towards you. And they kind of go in, like the common bends are 10, 12, 14, on some adventure bikes back to 16 degrees are the different bends. And sometimes that's actually measured in millimeters of sweep back. And I don't know how you would do the math, but you say, hey, I like a bar that's 30 millimeters of sweep, and then that would be X amount of degrees. I tend to prefer degrees because it kind of makes more sense. And then you have rise, and sometimes rise is how far it is from the bottom of the bar, how much the top of the bar to the bottom of the bar, and then kind of going upwards, and that's dependent on a lot of things, including what you do with the triple clamp. So there's a lot of stuff you can do on handlebars. So you're making a note that you're going to write down. We had a long discussion about handlebars here in your notes. Yeah?
Yeah.
Got that? Just checking. I was just making sure. I knew you were doing that, but that's good. So if you're kind of happy with what you have, I would try small changes to that and see if it gets better. Or if you have the opportunity to hop on your buddy's bike that has something different, ride that. Just do big sweeping changes and see if something, and then when you notice that, hey, that felt good or that felt horrible, ask them what it is, make a note of that, and then go, okay, I do or don't want to go in that direction, and then maybe that's something you might want to try with yours. But I love it when, just like somebody on the internet says, hey, I want to get bars, and then I'm just going to throw out, you need this bend. Everybody runs this bend. And there's guys that do that have some, numbers and different things, but take it for what it's worth. Everybody's kind of unique. Even, you could be 6'4" and you could have a really tall torso, or you could have really long legs, and little things like that make a big difference. You could have long arms, short arms. So if you have shorter arms, you might need a taller bar being a taller guy. If you have long arms, you might need a lower bar being a taller guy. And he didn't really get into that. So it's kind of knowing how to, place the things together. Something broken?
I'm just checking to see what changed, because literally I didn't change anything. And
right.
Some people are still apparently having some issues, but for the most part, everyone says it's sounding better.
Yeah, well, we have a 2-camera setup, so you just watch and decode. I don't know how it does it, but mine actually does the what do they call that?
Subtitles.
Subtitles. That's right. Yeah, does the subtitles, so you don't have to listen to it. Just do what you got to do.
I think it's good for now, and
we'll figure it later.
We'll troubleshoot after the show. I don't want to break the show again.
Right, don't break the show.
Yeah.
So yeah, hand cramps and fatigue at the end of a long race. That is more of a. In reality, it's probably a bigger thing about like a riding position. And how do you do that? It's like, well, you hang on less tight. You don't squeeze as much. And how do you do that? You anticipate what you are going to do on the motorcycle better, so you don't have to, hang on. If your body position is always balanced on the bike, when you're accelerating, you're actually, leaning forward because you're anticipating that you're going to be accelerated. So you start leaning forward, and the bike actually picks you up, so you don't have to squeeze in your handlebars. Same thing with the braking. When you get on the brakes, you put yourself in a body position to where a lot of force doesn't go back through your arms, and those can help quite a bit too. So, Jordan, thanks for asking that question. That was a good question. Next.
Zachary C. If he did not slow down, he would have made it.
He's talking about our all-wheel drive KTM video, where I ride the KTM adventure bike, and I ride slowly up the hill, and then I get it stuck, and then I turn the all-wheel drive on, and then I get it unstuck, and then I turn it off and go again, go slow, and I get it stuck. So that would defeat the purpose. But you're right. If he did not slow down, he would have made it, especially if I was in balance, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So good job,
Jim
Zachary,
recorded
for
that video, right?
pointing out the obvious, huh?
Jim recorded that video, right?
That's the video that Jim did. Yeah.
Yeah. Not definitely not George.
No, George shot the other ones that we weren't able to use yet.
Got it.
Right.
Potato channel, fake.
He says that video's fake.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I looked at Potato Channel's fake channel, and I forget what he was into. I think he was into boy bands. I think that's what he was watching those. Like those aren't fake. So actually, he was probably watching. No, he was the one. Okay, so this guy was the one that was watching that other ding dong that gets millions of views. That he does like he finds a cat in a box while he's out riding. Did you tell me about this guy? I hope you didn't tell me about it. Who told me about this? It's a guy. I don't even know what his thing is, but he like goes riding his motorcycle and like it's like they're clickbait titles. You know, I rescued a cat on my motorcycle.
Oh wait, I think this was on another podcast. Close to this region.
Oh really? And then my mom was abducted by aliens, and I rescued her on my motorcycle.
I think something like that. Yeah.
It's this. So that guy, the guy that said our video was fake, that was like on his. That was like one of his favorites. It was a playlist. I'm like, who's this guy? Whatever the guy's name was, Mikey Z or something like this. It was, and I'm like, who's Mikey Z and how's he getting 1 million views? Well, that's why we're gonna make stupid videos, Logan, like me and you and your sister. And we're gonna we just go out and do something really stupid, and it's got to be so stupid that it doesn't make sense, and everybody will watch it because it's what works now. So no more cats.
Yeah.
No more boxes. Yeah, just stupid videos like this.
Mm-hmm.
Next.
Hamad
Zufqua.
Yeah.
Yeah. He says.
Imagine this bike on a drag strip.
So he's talking about the all-wheel drive bike again.
Mm-hmm.
And since it's fake, it could never go to the drag strip. It's kind of fake. But anyways, if it were at the drag strip, it wouldn't make a bit of difference. Because if you're good on the drag strip, the minute you take off, where's the front wheel?
Inch off the ground.
Right. So how is that going to help you? And I'll tell you what. I'll tell you the other reason I don't know. It could help because since it's spinning, it's gyroscopic and it could help keep you going straight. But if you start losing your balance a little bit and you turn that bar and it's got drive to it, and when it hits the ground, well, it's going to be going it's going to be going slower than the rear wheel. That's just the way they're designed. All-wheel drive bikes are designed so that the front wheel is going slower so it's probably not on the drag strip going to drag you out of line. It might be better because it actually spun it up. So that's what I just did. I imagined it on a drag strip just like he wanted me to. So, mission
the drag
accomplished.
strip, not too far from here. It just so happened it's just a retired
runway. Yeah.
That we were apparently not supposed to be on.
It's a county road.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a county road. It off to the side of the county road is the landing strip. So,
The excellent speller didn't think so.
Who's next?
King Neptune.
King Neptune wrote us.
The Russians have been using them for at least 50 plus years. Is this not new? This is not new.
I had no idea that the Russians had all-wheel drive KTM adventure bikes. And I didn't know that even the KTM adventure bikes have been around for 50 years. But King Neptune sounds like he's been underneath the sea for a little bit too long. Didn't he what happened to King Neptune? Was he the one that got sucked up by that by the whale or something? Wasn't that the story?
I think you got your mythologies mixed up.
Okay,
Yeah.
That's right.
Stick to dirt bikes.
I'm working on it. We got to do stupid videos. We need millions of views.
There we go. Yeah.
Right. Hey, I'd like to thank Klim. Klim not only got me this awesome shirt, they make great dirt bike riding gear. And when I was riding last weekend, it was 109 degrees. You know what I said?
Chilly.
No, I said, thank God I'm wearing Klim gear because this stuff's really vented and it kept me cool and protected if I needed it. And when I stopped in the only place I could find the shade, like underneath a cliff, and I sweated for a little bit, the minute I got going, it was like air conditioning. And it had pockets. So I can do my awesome segment on Instagram. You may know it. What's it called?
I've got you in my pocket.
Right. It's an audio experience. We've got a way that that we're gonna turn this into another way to make money. Yeah, because
yeah,
we
yeah.
saw that
We
we
have
saw
another idea.
the ambient videos, like this, like noises and stuff to put you to sleep. Like, we're gonna mix up all of the 2-stroke and 4-stroke noises that I've made in my pocket, and then make some stuff to put you to sleep at night, because we think that'll work really good.
Relaxing sounds to put you to sleep.
Yeah. Yeah, 125 2-stroke will just so relaxing.
Matthew B. Two-wheel drive bikes are nothing new. If you
Say it.
water pond stars, you would know what a trail breaker is.
I said, if I water Pawn Stars, and this is what the guy said, Matthew B. Said if I water, he meant to say watch, but he said if you water Pawn Stars, I water porn stars. Water Pawn Stars. I'll get this straight. You would know what a trail breaker is. Trail breaker is a Rokon. A Rokon is another all-wheel drive motorcycle. So the brand is Rokon. Trailbreaker was one of their models. I think it came with the extra horsepower and the rims that were literally gas tanks or tanks to take water or something like that, and they float. And that's why he said water. I see. That's how I can go one step. You know how I know the answer before the thing.
Yeah.
So I responded to him. I said, yeah, it's it's a Rokon and they float on water. That's what I said. It's a water joke. And so he got back to me and said, yeah, because gasoline, you can fill them with gasoline, and gasoline is lighter than water. I'm like, uh-oh, now I'm getting in a scientific debate with a guy on YouTube. So I stopped. Just stopped right there. So because I don't know that much, but I do know what a Rokon is. So, hey, we'll answer all of your questions. I mean, you can ask smart ones too. It's okay. I mean, we can get arguments over things like this, but I try not to argue that much, because it's like I'm really trying to spend my time educating people about like medicine and politics. This motorcycle stuff just cuts into my time. So next,
C's Uno. Subaru spit their drink out and fell out of their chair.
Subaru. Because of this all-wheel drive motorcycle. Subarus are made with love. Do you know this?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what commercials say. So they love the all-wheel drive adventure motorcycle, kind of like I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I talked to Subaru about it. I'm sure the last Subaru I had left my wife stranded on the side of the road, and that wasn't love. That was scary. So, but hey, we sold it because some guy hopped the motor up and put it in an off-road car.
I had a wonderful experience with this.
yeah.
Subaru. Just want to throw that in.
You had wonderful experiences?
Yeah, wonderful experience. Yeah, that was my car when I lived in Alaska for about a year and a half.
Oh.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Like driving it or in the back seat?
No, I was like no, driving it. Yeah, no, there was no backseat action.
No backseat action?
Yeah, no.
Because isn't there so all I know about Alaska is there's one girl for every 10 guys.
I'm not sure about that ratio, but I mean, it's kind of a similar situation.
So Subarus don't pull the chicks, is what you're saying?
No, everyone drives a Subaru up there.
Oh.
Yeah, no. So that's not the issue at all.
Okay, got it.
No, the issue was 100% me.
Let's see here. Chris, when might the new Trailtech Pro mount be available? Chris, I don't know, but very soon. Like if you send me an email, I'll send you inside information on how to get in line. So, yeah. And John Jackson, fan of the show. Will you have an ISD recap show with basically Preston Campbell's team? NGPC National Grand Prix C. What does C stand for? Championship, National Hare and Hound, and District 37 club teams in studio to get the rookie perspective on the event. I can try to do that. We don't talk about racing, so it'll be hard. Because I'll just ask them about how their girlfriends are doing and stuff. Try to,
maybe talk about the bikes a little bit.
Right.
You can always get Trevor Hunter in with them, so then you can have the racers all talk.
Well, Trevor should do a racing talk. He posts about all of his races. He posts about his races, and then Bob doesn't read them, and then Bob asks me what Trevor's doing at the races, and It's like it's the endless circle.
You should just start a vlog like everyone else.
A vlog.
Yeah, there we go. Trevor Hunter vlog.
He does. He pretty much does a vlog.
Hey, does he?
That
was just GoPro stuff.
Stick to the dirt bikes.
Yeah.
We need to stick to the dirt bikes. Okay.
Yeah. No. Read the second part though. Read the second part.
I'm not reading that. Chris Reel says tote goat. What's he talking about? Tote goat is a two-wheel drive bike. It is also? Yeah. Was it a Rokon? I don't remember. Yeah. I don't. Yeah. Chris will explain, I'm pretty sure. I rode a Rokon. Yes, I did. And then Bob loves the Christini all-wheel drive. It helps me kind of sort of keep up with me on trail rides. Actually, we loaned my Christini to Bob, and he rode one of the really good Takati Enduros on it, and finished. He probably would have finished on anything, but he did good. They're calling 7:30.
Yeah.
Okay, let me see if I can do this.
Yeah.
Plug it in.
You can do it.
and
I can do it.
Yeah. It's you almost got it. There you go.
Okay.
You just gotta plug that in.
Plug this in here.
Yep.
We used to be able to do this. Like a different way, but now we have a new system. Thanks to Matt. Matt has gone out of his way to allow us to have live callers on the show. We're gonna see how it works. I just know by the name Jorge Justice. You're live on Tech Talk Taco Tuesday. How you doing?
Matt told me to call in. What's up?
Matt told you to call in. Well,
Yeah.
you were sending text messages to him telling him that this show wasn't very good without you, and you needed to make a guest appearance.
No. Oh, come on. No, I like the new form.
Oh, the new
I'm
form.
looking at Rokon's site.
How come you're not posting up stuff on the internets like you usually do? You don't have time for that
I
anymore?
don't know. Well, you got a producer full time in the office. So.
I have Logan sitting next to me
good.
too. Logan could be doing that.
He could.
Yeah.
Really? You
Well,
can. You
I
could-
don't know.
He was.
If you'd gone through these notes before the show, you would see we were talking about like Rokons and things like that, and you could have all those links all like ready to go. Yeah, put it in your
Well,
notes
you used
to
to
practice.
send me those notes, but I don't get them anymore. And Logan gets them, and he doesn't read them.
Well, you know what you guys could do? You could have like note reading practice before the show. You could, George. I got a way you can really help this show out. So about an hour before the show, you call up Logan and you guys like read the notes back to each other. That would be awesome.
Oh yeah, I got time for that. Hey, this King Neptune guy talking about the Russians and two-wheel drives. Is he talking about the Rokon? That's not Russian, is it?
No, it's absolutely not Russian. I wonder if have you seen that like that motorcycle that you inflate the motorcycle? Kind of like they make a car.
No.
Have you seen those what are those Russian things? They're like square blobs that you literally like blow up the entire car. It's like filled with air. At least the tires are. They're all mushy and stuff. They have a motorcycle like this. I've seen it. Yeah. And it'll pretty much go anywhere. And you can ride it across water. I think you like lay it over on its side and gas it and it drags you across water. So, yeah, I'm not really sure. I didn't do my research. I kind of try to concentrate on the popular dirt bikes, like the new ones everybody wants to know about. Because this is why this show ratings are just going over the top. Because we talk about all the most current things.
Broaden your horizons a little.
Broaden my
Hey,
horizons.
can I jump back to your handlebar comp? The guy asked about handlebars.
Yeah,
or something.
yeah, and I'm putting you on the list. I'm gonna sign you back up for that the show notes newsletter.
Hey, you remember when we changed the bars on the 390?
Yes.
That made to me.
Yeah, I did. I did remember that.
That totally. I rode that bike and it's pretty much stock configuration bars and stuff. And I rode it a couple of times. Didn't ever really feel comfortable, because of the geometry of the thing. And I had Jim ride it, and Jim was uncomfortable on it. And I think at your suggestion, we put some different bars on it and change things around a little.
We did, which is like sacrilege for me, is to like raise bars. I mean, I'm so anti-raising bars. But it was like I knew it needed it, and I just we were letting so many different people ride it just to see how they were responding. but that's what we did. We
Yeah.
raised them quite a bit.
And to both Jim and I mean, for me for sure, and I know Jim felt the same way, was it just totally changed that bike. I've never, or felt it, Of course, I don't have skills, but modification just totally changed the nature of the bike,
So,
and it really changed my mind on it.
well, but you think about most of the bikes you've been riding, at least off-road bikes, because I don't know about that other stuff you ride, but most of the off-road bikes you ride, they're set up pretty well to begin with. They're set up to do a real specific task, and
Right.
For things. So in general, they're set up for the average height person. You might be a little short. Did you see that thing we did with Jason Thomas talking about his bike? He's 5'4", 5'6". He's 5'6" guy.
5'6".
5'6" guy. I rode his race bike back in the day, and he had a bike that was very specifically set up for him, and it was kind of everything I hate about a motorcycle. And it was
Oh yeah, you've been talking about that a couple times, right?
yeah, it was a really good bike for him, not for me, because he knew how to set it up. And this is the case with anything, like with handlebars and with suspension settings, and that's why they allow you to adjust them to a certain extent, and that's why you can modify them. That's why there's aftermarket for this stuff. And for me on that KTM 390, the biggest thing was getting those foot pegs leveled out, and that really, for me, made me feel like the bars were too low. Because when the foot pegs were canted forward, not only did I not like standing up on the motorcycle because it caused me to fall forward on the bike, it made me put a lot of weight down, on the handlebars when I was falling forward on the bikes, and then it's really low. The minute I leveled those pegs up, then I stood up the way I wanted to. And then I noticed I can't really reach the bars without bending or doing something funny. So, and I was sort of waiting for someone else to complain.
When I think back on it, I think it was easier to ride for me. I still didn't really like it when it had those other pegs and the stock bars than when it had the level pegs and the stock bars. I think it got more uncomfortable for me. But when we raised the bars, that was the ticket. And it really, kind of came together and felt good.
And you wouldn't know this.
A guy like me, I wouldn't know to make those changes like you do. I just got on it and thought, this is just uncomfortable. It feels like I'm over the top bike or something. It felt like the steering head was just so low to the ground and close to me.
Yeah, and that's
weird.
that just so that comes, like I said, that comes from kind of years of experience of me doing this different stuff, but then also just watching their body positions kind of, and when the pegs were all funky like that, I just preferred to ride that bike sitting down like all the time. So I was riding like Crazy Nate, just full sit down ride style, never stand up. So so George, how does it feel to own the most endoing bike on the chart on the Roost and Endo?
Well, my neighbor up here in Montana showed up on a Rokon a couple weeks ago and wrote it up, and I was going to get some pictures of that and send it back in. But, I have no problem setting the baseline, but you
the
see
baseline.
how I'm always ahead of
the toilet.
The trends. Well, I'm always ahead of the trends because I thought you were joking, but that guy really raced one in Vegas to Reno or something.
He rode a 350X, so it was like that was the kind of the. That's you have the 185, and so imagine the 185.
No, I think it's a 200.
Oh, yours is a 200. Okay,
it's a 2 or 300.
Look at how proud he is of that thing, Logan. He's so
the
proud of
goat
that
one.
thing. The goat one.
It's whatever. It's the farm ranch one.
2-speed transmission
with all the racks. Yep.
Yep.
It's a workhorse. That thing unbelievably starts like on half a crank. I push it and that motor turns half a rotation and it starts.
Oh, you bump start it?
Cold, doesn't matter. No, the electric start.
Oh, it has electric start?
I just tap that button.
Oh,
Yeah.
you should have put that in the thing. I mean, it might have raised up a little bit. Maybe it's better than that bike that burned up in a fire. You never know. Hey, you want to stick around for our Roost and Endo segment?
Oh, sure. But
Okay.
you know what?
Yeah.
I actually wrote in a question I wanted.
Oh, okay. You have a question. You wrote it. Did we get it on the list? Did it make the list?
No, this was the one I was asking about because we couldn't find it.
Oh, you have pictures and everything.
Yeah, I do have pictures ready for.
Okay, we'll
for-
start with that, and then we'll have you stick around for Roost and Endo because it's good. It's the best segment.
Okay.
It's the one that I thought was really going to take the show over the top. I really thought that this was
Hey,
all we
viewership
needed.
went up.
The viewership went
So
up
you
with
want
Roost
me-
and Endo.
Well,
You want me to
you
just
know,
shut up
overall,
for now,
I
or
feel
what?
like.
No, what was the question?
So
Oh no.
I was looking.
Wait, are you talking to me or George right now? Because I can't hear George.
Oh, you can't hear him?
No, I can't.
Neither
hear
can they. That's why everybody in the studio audience just walked out of the building.
Yeah. Obviously.
Okay, so while he's gone, no, who'd you bring with you, Logan?
The one riding my dirt
Oh,
bike.
that's what I was hoping for. So that's the hole in the head guy.
No, well, yeah. I mean, the two of them, I
It's a combination.
50-50.
Oh, well, yeah, of course. Okay, we'll get into this later.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Just checking. Yeah. Yeah. Well, my cat's probably out there, trying to negotiate a deal with them. So, okay, George, your question is?
Well, I think you're better off with just the speakerphone held up to the mic so everybody can hear me.
Well, they can hear you.
Oh, okay. So anyway,
You're live on the show, I
looking
sure hope.
for-
I hope I'm just not talking to
I-
myself on this show.
No, they can hear him.
Oh, I thought
They can
so.
hear him.
But
I
mean
can hear you.
I mean, like
I would
Matt
have
and
said something a
everybody
lot
else.
sooner if we couldn't hear.
Oh,
him.
we don't care about anybody else here. It's just me and Logan, the only important people. We're on the show,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We're good.
Okay.
Matt could have
And so
earphones
my
too.
Yeah, I could.
So my question.
I'm
Okay.
here making sure
I
that.
was-
The,
Do you want a drum roll or what?
No, I can just hear other people talking because they can't hear when I'm talking.
That's okay. We'll tell them to shut up. Just go.
Okay, so I was surfing the Craigslist and Facebooks for my friends up here looking for their kids' bikes, little kids' bikes, and this guy had two bikes advertised for $900. It was a 90 and a 125. It looked like one of them might have been a Honda. So they were all ready to buy them. They supposedly both ran because that seemed like a pretty good deal. Two bikes for $900, and then they found out they were these Chinese knockoff bikes. I don't even know what the brands were, but one was a Xing Xing and one was a Wow Pop. or
Shing
something.
shing and a wow pop. Got it.
And so
I
I
have an
told
image
him,
of one of them
well,
up
at
right now.
that, I'd probably just back off and wait around for a sure enough Honda, one of the Japanese brands or something. A sure enough.
Yeah, make that picture big, Matt,
Motorcycle.
so everybody can see it. So we are looking at. I'm going to describe it for our podcast audience. We are looking at a knockoff Honda 50 with long travel suspension. So all those mini bikes we raced back in the day that were all super modified, like by companies like Fast 50s and BBRs. Well, the knockoff companies basically took a picture of it and said, "Hey, we have most of those parts." And so they basically they kept the wheels off the 50 and the Honda 50 motor they had it cloned and some of the frame, and then they got really long shocks and really long forks and just bolted it on, and then they just changed the color. They made
That's
them.
actually supposed to be the 125, I think.
Oh well, that motor can be
There was a
be
90
from
that's a little smaller.
that motor can be from
Right.
like 50 cc's all the way up to like I've seen those motors like at 300 cc's. Like just it depends on the jug they put on it.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we're looking at one of these knockoff.
Here, I'm gonna switch the image to the other
Bikes.
one actually.
Oh, you got the other one too.
Yeah, I got them both.
So these are just typical like they're
Oh, here's the second one. It's
they go by a lot of different. Oh, that's the mini one. So it's
Ah.
got the big tall seat on it. So this one actually looks way more like a Honda 50.
It even says CRF on it.
Yeah, it says all the Honda 50 stuff because they just knock them clean off. So it's a 50, and then they just put a big fat seat on it because that's what Americans need. They probably watch videos on YouTube of guys that are riding and say, oh, they need bigger seat. So
Well, after looking at them, a little more, I mean, these are obviously bikes set up for big kids or adults to screw around on, I think. But anyway, I just said, don't mess around with these knockoff brands. I wanted to get your opinion on that. I mean, what is the parts availability and,
So I'm actually kind of you kind of be surprised this take on this. It's like there was absolutely with 100% certainty no product testing or development that went into that motorcycle. They took a picture, they took parts, knocked off parts, they found a shock, just a thing that it's called a shock that may not actually be a shock. It might just look like a shock. It might be a thing with a spring on it that's, so even though it looks like maybe it was set up for an adult or something like that, it depends on the spring. They could get the spring that the guy makes at the factory that makes pens next door, or they could go to the guy that makes tractors on the other side of the street and get that spring and put it on that thing that's supposed to be a shock. That's R&D at these factories that make this stuff. Some of these companies actually are able to once they send a prototype. I get emails from these companies all the time. It's like, hey, dirt bike test, Jimmy. We make a special run of. We've written we've read the email before. Remember the guy that wanted to build us motorcycles?
Yeah.
Yeah, he wanted to, so he can produce up maybe 10 up to 1,000. I don't know. We could make an order of motorcycles that he would send, and they would be DBT motorcycles. I should have done it. I mean, that's how we're gonna make money.
Yeah.
Then you give them away.
Wait. I'm thinking, I got to quit doing honest business. I got to do a scam. So, George, you know what? You want to invest in my new motorcycle company? Because I think that if we get a lot of motorcycles in here and we start selling them, we'll do giveaways first. Let's see. I'll just charge you double of what we're going to pay for the bikes, and then I'll disappear after we give them all away. Well, wait. The giveaway's got it. No, we got to do a giveaway, and then we'll get more subscribers, and then we'll start doing this from a basement someplace in Nebraska.
Yeah.
And nobody will find us.
Like Wolfman Jack.
Old bomb shelter, yeah.
Right, bomb shelter. Got it. Logan knows who Wolfman Jack is too. He's totally confused.
No.
So these bikes. So back to the whole thing. So these bikes are basically, they're kind of like they're worse than the old Hondas and Yamahas and things that we got when we were kids. Because they actually were trying to make sort of a performance product, something that worked, and these companies are just they just knock something off and are just trying to get something over here that somebody can sell. And whether it's sewing machines or motorcycles, it's a thing that they're exporting that can sell. And for me, the good thing is if you're a kid and you get one of these, you get to ride, and you don't even know that it's bad. You're just on a motorcycle and you're cooler than your friend that doesn't have a motorcycle, and you go jump it and it breaks in half, and then guess what you learn how to do? Weld. You go, ride it and it breaks a chain, and you learn how to go find a place to go get a chain or grips, or you find out whether your BMX bicycle grips fit on it. And the motor's going to break at some point or another. And you have to learn how to unplug a carburetor, adjust the valves, stuff like this. And so in that respect, it's kind of good because it's a learning tool. And if you don't want to put the effort in to work on those things, to learn to work on those things, well, maybe dirt bikes aren't the best thing for you. So it might weed out some of the people. And then when you say, hey, this. You learn from it breaking all the time, and your friend that has a Honda that never has to work on it, and it's the same. It looks exactly the same, because at that point you don't even know the difference. It's like, I've got one just like that, because they look the same. You realize it's like, I need something better, and then you go in and buy the next best thing. And I think if you kind of come into it, that's like, hey, I'm going to get into this for kind of cheap. It's kind of like Matt buying a YZ125 in a box.
Yeah,
you learned a lot.
Yeah. Well, that was the whole purpose of me buying that bike. I wanted to learn.
Yeah.
And I learned the wrong way a lot in that process.
Yeah, you learned, and Martin Hackworth was on the thing. He said you should see what they do with Fender and Gibson guitars. they do this with everything. They knock everything off. What's that? The tractor I have is a knockoff Kubota, whatever that thing is. But that company's been. Do you have any? Doing it forever.
Do you have any idea if you can source parts for these bikes, or do you just use Honda parts, or what do you do?
There's starting to become a pretty good parts change for these bikes. I think there's a few companies. There's a company like SSR that imports a lot of these things, and so if the stuff isn't like a direct fit for a Honda, and believe me, you do not want to go into a Honda dealer and say, hey, I have this bike. It's like a Honda, and can I get this part? Because not only is the parts guy not even capable of understanding what bike you have or something like that, it's just like it. They don't have a part number for it. It was like me trying to buy, I don't remember what it was, a clutch lever for a Husaberg, and the guy said he goes, I told him, can you get me this part off of another bike? And he goes, well, what is it for? And I told him, I said, you don't want to know. I just need a part for this. He goes, well, what is it for? I go, well, it's for a Husaberg. He goes, well, what's that? I'm like, that's why I just said I didn't want to tell you. Can you please get me a KTM 450 or whatever it was, clutch lever or something, and just down, But anyways, this is what happens with these knockoff bikes and stuff. Is it you can, if you're crafty, you can source parts for them, and you can probably find a whole nother bike that doesn't work for half of the price of the one that you got that was running, and then you can put the two together and you end up with a big pile of parts eventually. But then you learn how to sell stuff on eBay. Because you part out the one that you didn't have, and net you make money.
Well, I'm glad I told my friends to stay away from these because
that is the
George
safe.
would be the one ending up fixing it.
That is the
just
safe
like
thing to
go
do.
Online to Rocky Mountain and order stuff by year and model and all that. I don't want to be hunting on eBay for a week.
Right.
Find a state or something,
Yeah, but that's. I think Logan needs Chinese bikes from now on. He needs knockoff bikes.
Yeah, if he's blowing them up.
until you can keep them running for a long time, And even a lot of the ones that are coming from the manufacturers, a lot of those bikes are built in other places. Like now, I think a lot of the Honda CRF-Fs are built in Brazil, and some of the Yamaha TTRs are built in different places in Indonesia and stuff. You can look at the sticker on the side of on the frame. Sometimes it tells you where they're assembled, but it comes down to quality control, and then a company, like. If they did the testing to make the bike good and then they license someone else to copy it. But that doesn't take very long. Once they license a company someplace else offshore to copy it, when the brother of the guy that owns that company gets the plans and takes it 3 doors down the street to the other guy that used to make lawnmowers and now is going to start building motorcycles, then you get your woo-woos or your, what'd you call it? A zim-zam?
Yeah, I don't know what it was.
Yep. So where are you at, George? Montana?
Yep. Up in the northern part of Montana, sitting in my fifth wheel.
Are you?
I'll be sitting in this fifth wheel probably in Pahrump. I don't know.
A few weeks. Rally training starting Tuesday. If you can come down, Jim's coming.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. No. I'm trying to get electricity onto my property, and
they don't have
once that
electricity up
happens-
there. That's why we don't go up there. It's almost like China. You don't have electricity.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ah.
I just sent Matt a picture you should put up on the screen there that Jimmy just sent me. Jimmy Tyler.
Well, Jimmy could have sent it to Matt. We don't have to send it all the way to Montana. It's like we don't need UFOs around here. Oh, is that of the hole in the head?
No.
No, something
I don't
different.
think so. Yeah, I think it's something different.
The one wheel
Put a
thing.
little black stripe
No.
across the eyes.
I saw a picture of a one wheel the other day. Okay, let's get the board down. Let's do some of this Rooster Endo with special guest George. Yeah, so you're going to come down and co-host a couple of these shows, put Logan out of a job during the winter?
Well, that'll be in the winter maybe.
Okay. Logan's got to improve this
I
board.
forgot how to ride, by the way.
Oh, you did? That's
Yeah,
a shame.
Pretty much, I forgot how to ride. Jim's been riding every day, living the dream.
Right.
Oh, there's stuff falling off of there.
Yeah, this Logan hasn't have this. He's got to get this system on point. It's kind of like his reads for the show, a little substandard, but we're just getting used to it. He's coaching us up or down or whatever it is. Do we set everything on top of your other things?
No, I think the board is.
Logan, this is really not how this segment's supposed to go. It's supposed to be fluid, just roll right in. In fact, where's the intro music for this segment, Matt?
It's coming out next week.
Coming next week.
Yeah.
Right. So
I was trying to get a soundboard set up, but I'm suspect either that might have something to do with the audio issues earlier tonight.
Matt's been doing really good. Oh, now the story comes out.
Well, no, I think it's either that or there was an audio a connection's loose somewhere.
this thing needs to be built in a way that we can just pull it down and then and it stays up by itself. Don't worry about last week's things; those are old news. Let's go straight to the new shit.
We might have cool news next week too.
Cool, yeah, we're working on cool news. Matt has been doing something around here.
Yeah.
Michael.
Okay,
I
so
want to know when Matt's going to get a real job and you're going to lose him.
oh, Matt getting a real job. Matt has a real job.
Yeah,
Dude.
very real.
Hey, he has a real job here. He's a partner in some of our things. So he's working a little bit on spec. It's going
No,
good.
I mean a real job that's going to go somewhere.
He's grabbing the bull by. You have no idea how far this is going to. It's going to go so far that you can't even comprehend where it's going to go. Right, Matt?
Oh, 1,000%.
1,000%.
People will not know what's coming. Will not know.
They don't know what's coming. They don't know what's going to hit them.
As San
probably
Felipe
won't
Bob
care,
said
that's the
earlier.
San Felipe Bob
Yeah,
said.
classic Matthew Mattoon Gold. Just wanted to.
Classic.
You wouldn't read that part, so I had to read it.
Classic Matthew Mattoon Gold.
Yeah,
Okay, good.
That's the show.
That's what's going on here.
I think Logan needs a glue stick instead of all these pens trying to drive him into a 3/8 piece of plywood.
3/8, huh?
Whatever. I haven't seen it. I haven't been there.
Yeah, he needs some help. He's just slacking here. So Michael Betsy Korn. Is that really his name? Michael Betsy Korn?
Hey Logan, can you move the Tacosaurus really quick?
Tacosaurus?
You're blocking the namesake of the.
Yeah, you're blocking the
pride
Husaberg. Are you
and joy.
kidding me?
There we go.
I was using it as a little
And then
break.
and then Travis just fell.
Yeah, you just destroying the whole
He
set here.
dislocated his shoulder again.
Yeah. This is a 2006 KTM 450 EXC. I need to see it. And do you have a picture of that up on the thing right now?
Oh yeah, it's up there.
It's up there. Make it big so everybody can see. They don't need to see. You can cover me. I don't care.
I'll block Logan.
A 2006 KTM 450 EXC. These are sought after bikes. This is when they finally started getting good with that RFS thing. Complete set of supermoto wheels with factory oversized big front brake rotors. We don't care about that. Dirt bike test. Baja Design Squadron Pro LED light. Trailtech Voyager Pro GPS unit. Ricky Stater 100 watt kit. This thing sounds like a Baja Warrior here. Full FMF exhaust with true ceramic coating inside and out on the header. HT Racing
What
external.
does that do for you? What's the ceramic do? Cool or something?
It doesn't allow the heat to get into the metal. Like it eventually gets in there, but it protects the thing. Jimmy's jury is out on the effectiveness of ceramic coating on as far as related to performance. And Bob, who ceramic coated the header on one of my Husabergs that I purchased from him, is waving his hand. We're going to take the question.
It keeps the temperature of the exhaust gas up, and it keeps the velocity up.
Okay, so he says it keeps the temperature of the exhaust gas up, which, yeah, it depends on how it. There's a lot of debate about this, and it keeps the velocity up.
Right, because the temperature's up.
Yeah, so to a noticeable amount in a bike that's varying its RPM levels and
Well, it's a dirt bike, so it's probably a waste of money. But they do.
right. Okay, there we go. It's a dirt bike, so it's probably a waste of money.
Well,
That.
on a dirt bike, you don't want your
Yeah.
tank spoiling.
You don't want your gas tanks boiling, so you're trying to keep the heat in the pipe and not transferring it into the rest of the bike. Okay, so anyways, so true ceramic. I don't know if that's better than fake ceramic or false ceramic, but true ceramic. HT Racing external billet oil cooler stator cover holds an extra 10 ounces of oil. Seat Concepts dual sport seat. Did we talk to Seat Concepts yet, Matt? That was on the list,
That's
right?
on the list.
Right on the list. Because they literally are on every single bike on this board, and except for the one that caught on fire in George's ATC.
I put a new cover on my ATC. See,
Is it carpet? Or
I put a new cover. No,
you should have
no.
skinned. You
Put a new
should
vinyl cover on there.
you should have skinned that bull you were dumping in the ground the other day and put that bull on that seat.
Oh, you know what? I wanted to, and I hinted that to the owner, and
He didn't go for that.
bite. So,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
George in his spare time now is a bull mortician.
Well,
Yeah.
I have a pet.
Can you get us like some good
cemetery
steaks?
up here.
Pet. He has a pet cemetery on his
Oh, okay.
on his lawn. You learn more than you need to know on this show.
Hey, this guy's got a lot of good parts there, but you know what the downfall of that bike is?
Well, we haven't got to the end, so just let me get to the end. Bulletproof
okay.
luggage rack, IMS oversized gas tank, a JD jet kit, suspension by Motivations Racing, MVR, Moose Racing radiator guards, Moose Racing handguards, and then the motor was sent off to Thumper Racing and bored out to a 453cc motor from the 400cc stock. So, okay, Michael, here we go. Okay, so what's wrong with this bike, George?
Carburetor.
Carburetor, okay.
What year is that thing?
2006.
2006?
Yeah, he's got a little ways to go to carburetor. I mean, as far as the KTM EXCs, MXCs of that time, 2006 and 2007, they had those things. 2005s even, they had those things pretty dialed. They learned a lot about the frame, the geometry, and just the flex and stuff. They really started to come around at that point. But he lied to us. He called it a 450 EXC right off the bat, and then we find out it was just a little 400, and he had to bore it out.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, so that's false advertising right there. He should have started out with 400 and then snuck that 450 in a little bit later, I think. So I put it right there. But that's
I think that's appropriate spot for it.
He's got a good setup though. I mean, he's got a lot of stuff going on.
But you know what? You got to say on a bike like that, if he's proud of it and he's riding it, that's the deal.
Well,
you know what I mean? That's all it's about.
I'm pretty
He's
sure that
proud of that bike and all that shit on it.
the
and he's
good
riding it,
good
that's
thing
the
about
deal.
this segment is that slowly over time, because everybody will send their bike in, I will get rid of all of our viewership, and then only stupid people will be watching this show, like the people that want to watch Logan open a box.
Yeah. And wear a stupid taco hat.
Well, don't worry, you get to do that later.
The taco hat is the selling point. It's not stupid.
Who have we got here?
I'm not going to come on unless I can wear the taco hat.
Oh, see, it's a reward, not a
taco
punishment, like
hat's
I told
cool.
you. Yeah. Hey, did you see the tequila I had tonight, George? Loma Azul. It's the Reposado.
Nice.
Yeah, really good. Really smooth drinking. I just put it on top of your ATC, by the way. What do we got? Who's our next guest?
John Jackson.
John Jackson. And John, I'm sorry because I think he sent this to us earlier.
Yeah. I was trying to go through like in the order that we got him,
Okay.
but I'm kind of like picking around at this point.
Okay. So this is a 2016 Honda CRF 250L that's completely stock. It honks its horn as he passes 450s in technical sections. So right there, that's going right up, way up there. I'm gonna even go right up there.
It doesn't go above the KDX.
I don't think it's above the KDX.
Yeah, no, it's in front of the KDX.
It is?
Yeah, I'm looking.
Well, because the KDX probably fell off. The KDX is overheat and stuff, and they're old. Actually, I was going to share this whole thing with the KDX Worldwide owners group or something that I'm on the Facebooks, and so I'm glad I didn't do that tonight now because I just probably disrespected.
Talk about losing viewership. That's a good way to lose viewers that we didn't even have.
You know why I like that so much? Is I didn't have to talk about it. I could just put it over there. It's a
solid bike.
Okay, Logan, you keep reading on this one. Let me look at it. You keep reading. Tell me what it is. I'm gonna have a sip here.
Robert Quick, 2020 Sierra 450 RWE with TBT Racing Oklahoma suspension with stiffer springs. Zeta top and bottom fork adjuster in anodized red. Raptor T foot pegs, faster USA wheels.
T or tie?
Tie.
Titanium, right?
Ride engineering, triple clamps and pull rods. Recluse torque drive complete system. P3 carbon skid plate. TM design chain, slide and guide. Ride engineering top bar mount with their cones. Pirelli MX32 mid softs.
You took Ken Roxon's bike and modified it? Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Robert Quick. I remember riding the Works Edition, and it's funny because of all the the factory the different versions. I think Honda does the best job, and if on some of the other brands you're just getting a kind of a blingy treatment. The Works Edition Honda with the little changes that the muffler pipe and then the ignition mapping do. I think they port the head in the Honda. If I remember correctly, they do a little bit of head work inside of it. It was a noticeably better bike for me. Now I don't know if that would be for everybody because it kind of smooths the hit out. What everybody thinks makes it fast, it actually smooths the bike out and stuff. So you've taken a really good motorcycle and modified. Well, actually, the good thing is he didn't modify anything in the motor. He just made it handle for himself. Because with all the chassis tweaking he's done there with the treble clamps and the pull rods and all the other stuff, I really like the way this bike handled stock. So that wouldn't be for me, but this isn't for me. This is for you.
His forks got that coating on it or something.
They
too?
come stock with the coating on it. Yeah.
You do.
Yeah. Yeah. What do they charge extra for that? Was it $1,200 more or something? Was it 12 or 14? And now it's like 10 grand more because you can't buy them anyways. So yeah, so it's up there. It's a good bike. It's going pretty high. I like that. Especially
below the 250L.
Especially if the 250L, anybody in this room right now could hop on and ride that 250L and have a pretty good time. And I would say most of us would hop on Robert's bike and it would be different story. So that's my reasoning. Argue with me. Go ahead. What are we up here next,
No, I
Logan?
agree. I think I could have a lot of fun on that 250L. That bike of his, it'd be too snappy for me, and I wouldn't enjoy it.
Yeah, no, it's smooth for a 450, but yeah, okay.
Harlan Miller.
Harlan.
Yeah.
We know Harlan.
2021 Husky FE 350S. Synco 525 hybrid rear. TU bibs. Rear setup.
Tubeless?
Yeah.
So, but tubeless is different. So, Nitro Moose bibs.
Yeah. I don't know.
You don't know?
No.
So it says Mooses, right? It looks like Mooses. It has a Moose sticker on it.
TU bibs. Built.
Tubeless.
Yeah.
Tubeless rear setup. No. Wait, which way are you reading? You're reading that line right there?
3, yeah.
Yeah, tubeless rear setup.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Synco 216 fatty front. DDC 50 rear sprocket, 13 front. RK racing chain, Enduro engineering 15 mil risers. Enduro engineering skid plate with link guard. Saved the water pump twice. Acerbis X Factor headlight, handguards, and seat. Tool bags. Trail Tech, and a DBT sticker.
Okay, don't try to butter me up with these DBT stickers, okay? I have a big concern. Logan, look at the front fender. Look at what's wrapped around the front fender. Does that look like a toe strap or something?
That or like tape.
Well,
It's a front fender bag.
There's a bag on the front, but
Yeah,
but
the
There's
yellow.
a pull noodle.
Oh, the yellow.
make that full size. What's that yellow thing?
Yeah, okay.
This is starting.
Enhance.
Yeah, look at that really big there. Is that a thing that's wrapped around the fender? Because
I think it is.
okay, Harlan, man, I love you, Harlan. I really do love you, Harlan. But you have just qualified for the massive endo. You need to take that off.
That's just a shimmy.
It's a chamois.
a
Like he
rag
just got
hanging
wash.
on
He
there,
just
I
got
think.
done washing it. Okay, we're gonna have to get clarification.
Yeah, so
We're gonna have to get
It looks
clarification
more
on
like
this.
Take
it looks like
points
more
off
like
for leaving
a
the
like a
rag
little
on.
rain jacket, but
It looks like a toast. It looks like a toe strap that he's wrapped around there because he's afraid the bike's gonna break. Which
it's definitely not a chamois. Like it's I'm gonna
it looks like
enhance again.
it looks like a really big toe strap that he's wrapped around the front fender. And my fear is that when he gets that bike deep
Gonna
into the
enhance
stroke,
again.
it's gonna be like grabbing your front brake. So until we have clarification on that, since this bike will currently endo, it's gonna have to get an endo. I mean, that's just what I'm saying. Does he have the Achirby seat on it too?
Yeah, it's not seat
Wait,
concept, so
He
therefore
has the Achirby's.
it's endo.
No, it's fine. Achirby's is a great company, but those seats, that's a love or hate.
I hate that seat. I've ridden that seat before.
I've given you the plastic one with the air pump in it.
Yeah, no, I very much did not like that seat. It was, yes, I would not need toilet paper because of that seat.
Is,
I-
is
Get
that
right
a
up in
tank
there.
bag?
It's a tank bag.
Is there a tank-
There's a tank bag
Tank
on there
bag
too.
on there?
You know I'm a big fan of the tank bags. The good thing about those seats and like they don't bother me too much. In fact, there's certain ones that really help keep me on the bike, and they also make me stand up. they're not for comfort. They're for riding performance. So yeah, okay, Harlan. This one we're going to put a question mark on this one, but it is going towards on the endo side of the scale down
Tentative
here.
endo.
Tentative endo. We're going to have to get some clarification on that strap or chamois or whatever's up there because mechanical stuff that's mechanically or unsafe sends your bike right to the bottom of the row.
Jimmy, you're gonna have to read this one.
Oh no.
The last one killed me.
Oh God. Oh Jesus. Hey, I guess this one's gonna go up really big on the screen because it's from a guy named Matt Mattoon.
Don't know him.
Yeah, Matt Mattoon. It's a 2012 Husaberg TE300E. So I know that. That's your most favorite picture in the whole world? Wasn't that your Facebook profile for like a few years?
For a little bit. No, not for a few years, but for a little bit. No, my mom took this picture like a week after I got the bike.
Okay, so it has a Hinson clutch, Baja Design Squadron Hinson clutch with the blown out dampers. By the way,
No, they're not blown out anymore.
well,
It was, yes.
6 out of 8 of them, are replaced because somebody didn't
We
know
did
how many there
miscount.
were.
We did
Yeah,
miscount.
I'm taking another sip for this one. A Baja Design Squadron headlight that works some of the time due to wiring issues.
Stator issues
An FMF Power Core 2 silencer
that needs to be repacked.
because the guy was riding it was lugging it around all the time and it filled up with 2-stroke oil. ESP tuned suspension that needs to be serviced that he relied on Jimmy Lewis to supply him with like a mix match of parts, so it's not exactly what came stock on the bike. By the way, I told him it was better what I gave him. Recently installed Trailtech stator. Oh, now we're talking about the stuff that we've put on it that we haven't tested yet.
Yes.
Okay. Provides. By the way, Trailtech, sponsor of the show, and they have when you miswire your Baja Design Squadron headlight.
I have a thing about that, by the way.
Yeah, when you miswire it and you probably overcook the voltage regulator and it just causes havoc to your stator, you can go to Trailtech and they will get you a good heavy duty high output stator. By the way, provides a nice stretch on your right leg to start the bike, which means that the e-start will be fixed. We spent a little while today scouring the internets for the kit. What was the name? XRC?
I think it was XRT.
XRT. It's a new
XCX.
Yeah, it's a New Zealand company that makes like better bushings for the starter Bendex and all that stuff because mats are kind of blown out a little bit. And I know, and maybe somebody out there can help me with this because I looked around. I remember there was a kit that actually you could buy that you would drill out and put in larger bushings. And we kind of looked around, and maybe it was somebody that sent me something in the magazine that they were going to produce, and it was a really good kit, and it worked. But since we were riding new bikes at the magazine, we didn't need it, so I probably never really tested it. And so who knows? And since I didn't do it in the magazine, they spent their whole promotion budget on sending it to me, and then we missed it. So been through years of mismanagement, has never been blown up or seized. This we can't verify. Well, although when we did take the pipe off,
Yes.
I said, Matt, how's the top end? And he's all, huh? Like, how's the top end?
Well, I haven't ridden the bike in over a year, I think.
Well, I know, but you when you take the pipe off, you put a flashlight up in a 2-stroke, and you can see how the top end is.
Right.
So
This is not a trick. This is a trick I'm aware of, but not one I had done in a while.
That was news at that point.
Yes.
A bike that taught me a lot of lessons about maintenance. That sentence isn't properly worded.
I was busy with some other things while
A bike
writing this
that
out.
taught me a lot about maybe lack of maintenance. Would that be better?
Lessons I'm learning now that I should have learned when I was 15 or 16.
Right. Choose this pick from 8 years ago and try to boost its rating. You chose that pick from 8 years ago, right? Okay. So I already picked on the picture, right? How come you
Yes.
didn't make it full screen on the thing? So the picture is of Matt basically looping the bike out. It did loop out occur.
No, this was a
Where's your foot?
mostly perfect.
Is your foot
turn.
pivot turn? Is your foot covering the rear brake?
Yeah, it's right there.
I can't see from here.
Here, I'll make it
Yeah,
full
it's-
screen. We're gonna
it's-
enhance.
He's
it's
got-
covering the.
It's got it.
Covering the rear brake.
He's got it, so he's doing good. This is
Yeah.
when you were
I was-
an instructor at the Jimmy Lewis Off-Road Riding School, so
Yeah.
it's good. The technique is right there.
yeah.
The rear wheel actually looks like it's almost off the ground. That's good. That's a good pop.
Yeah. See.
How many times did it take to get that photo? Like how many photos?
Oh, not many. This was actually when I started to figured out how to do this.
Right. Okay, that's
Yeah.
good. Approved. I have the power to stop the stream at any moment.
Just a reminder.
He's just talking about and that probably relates to where it's going to go on the board.
Yeah.
Well, there's something around here we call conflict of interest, and we try to keep things above board here. So this picture here, we're going to take it and we're going to put it right back on this side over here,
Oh no.
someplace. We're going to park it right back over there. What? Don't.
Go lower with it, so
Oh.
it'll fit on the up there.
Oh, so okay, so I won't.
Logan's here with the foresight.
Can you put tomorrow? Can you come in here and tune this whole system up a little bit?
Yeah.
As part of your daily routine. Did you finish getting all those other videos uploaded, or podcasts uploaded? Hey, if you are actually, I mean, it would be really strange that you were actually enjoying the show, right, Logan?
Yeah.
But if you actually are and you want to learn more things, we have like 107 other episodes of this up, and some of them are actually really good. Promise you, there's one or two that might be good. Sorry if you have to, wade through that, but when you're doing long drives and doing things where you can listen to podcasts, we have them up there. We're on all the podcast channels. You can just Google Tech Talk Taco Tuesday Dirt Bike Test, and it will show up. So just in case you're bored or you want to hear my soothing voice, like it's kind of like an ambient sound before you go to bed.
I think I'd take the 125 sounds.
The 125 sounds
Yeah.
like scratching the chalkboard.
I've been working for you long enough that your voice is not relaxing.
Well, at least I don't cuss that much in this show.
On the show. Well, no, you
Yeah.
don't have to cuss that much off the show either, I think.
What's that gas tank thing? Jeff Benton asks.
I think it was the it was a bag.
The bag, the gas tank bag
Yeah.
that I have, that I use.
Yeah, I believe so. It was on one of the Rate My Bike pictures.
Oh, somebody had a gas tank bag on their bike.
Harlan or
Oh no,
the
he
guy who had who got bumped down because of his
Harlan's bike.
yeah.
The one those aren't gas tank bag. Oh, the tank bag. He's talking about the tank bag.
I
So
believe.
it's a tank bag is just something that straps up on the tank and then it invades your personal space.
Right.
It's the way I try to explain it to people. It's like you're preparing to get kicked in the nuts, even though it's probably not going to happen. But tank bags invade your personal space. George knows this. He's always getting kicked in the nuts
yeah.
around here.
Well, my legs
You're
are
very
so
quiet.
short. It's all very close.
Right. So, and then Sean Bailey says, "Love the show. You guys are awesome." Obviously, he hasn't sent a bike in yet to have it reviewed on
Right.
Rooster Endo, right?
I think he might have actually.
Oh, he did?
I think so. I'm not 100% sure though.
Well, maybe his bike's pretty high up in the scale.
Yeah, I think you should read San Felipe's Bob comment here. He's been nice to me.
Matthew Mattoon, how about lessons your mentor should have taught you long ago? Does he wants a lesson?
No, I think he's I think he's saying there's lessons you should have taught me years ago.
Oh, I tried. How much?
Oh,
do you,
I know this in
okay.
hindsight.
So when you're Logan's age, how much do you listen to anything anybody says? Like I used to be cool, like to Logan. I used to be cool, and it was like because I had all these dirt bikes, and all I did was ride dirt bikes. And now I'm like a mentor or something like that, and like I give him advice all the time. So he's like, kind of like you know how you do with your dad,
Right.
right? What does that guy know? So I'm in that group now. I can barely get him to fix the board. That was a job that was assigned last week. You should go back in the tape, and I'm pretty sure I said should have been fixed.
Well, I was planning on doing it in shop class.
Ooh,
Build a new one.
you have
class.
you have shop class in Pahrump.
Wood shop and auto shop.
That's awesome.
That's nice too.
That is good.
Oh
Like they need to have shop classes in school.
yeah, it is nice.
The
Yeah.
auto shop teacher
So-
used to be Mr. Funk. He was
so-
a really
Yeah.
cool guy.
Just
Right, I
retired.
remember you actually. I remember you talking about him
Yeah,
back
yeah.
in the day. So you have a wood shop class, and you're gonna craft a new Rooster Endo board.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. When is that gonna take place? Do you have to like? Do you need?
Well, whenever he starts letting us build our own stuff, he's still trying to teach us how to use stuff.
didn't you tell him
safely.
that? Didn't? Oh, like around here.
Yeah.
Like you said, I know how
Exactly.
to. I know how to not do everything. I watched Jimmy Lewis do this.
Yeah.
Skill saws, drills, all that stuff like that. Hey, George, you know, we have another. Should we bring in a special guest?
Don't we have one?
Yeah, you brought him.
Oh, yeah.
Who is it?
My cousin.
Introduce him.
Selma.
Partial owner of broken TPI 300.
Yeah, get up here.
You want to turn that mic on? Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
is this the goon that
All right,
kept
we're gonna
riding
go
that
switch
bike
to the
wide
special
open
guest cam.
You have a special guest cam?
after
Yeah.
tail?
Oh,
Yeah.
special guest cam's not aligned all the way. Hold
Well,
on.
that's okay.
I
We
got
can
it.
just bring it over just a little bit here.
That one.
Yeah. So you just turn that one off the side a
Yeah,
little bit.
Turn that one. Yeah, turn it to the.
So that's enough. That's enough. That's
There you
enough.
go.
Oh.
That's
shoot.
too
No,
much.
too much. Go back.
Yeah.
Professionals
Hey
here.
Jimmy, is this the
Go
guy that
back even
actually
more.
blew that bike up?
This
In
way.
my opinion, I'm not gonna blame. I'm not gonna blame
more? Bring
a
more?
little more. I'm not gonna blame Logan for this.
Right there. Perfect.
Okay. So, so Logan, this is your cousin. Does your cousin have a name?
Nathan.
Nathan.
Yeah.
Just Nate.
Just Nate.
Just call me Nate.
So did you watch last week's show?
No.
That's good, because I broke down what happened, but I'm pretty sure I have the whole story. So let's just review this. And so if anybody's curious what we're talking about, is
Hey, Nate, on that mic, I think it's off.
Yeah.
well, so pop that sucker
Pop
yeah
that
up.
Give
Turn
me
it
a
up.
little mic test really quick.
Check, check.
Yeah, talk
Get
right
closer to it.
talk right
Get
into
closer
that
to it.
thing.
Can you
This is
hear
how we do things here. You know, we're all ready to
Yeah.
go.
One more check.
me? You got me?
No. Flip the
Check.
mic. Flip it the other way. Which way is yours? Up or down?
No, it should be up. It should be
Should
up.
be up.
Okay.
There, I just heard it.
Heard.
I think you have to be really close to that mic.
You hear me?
Well, it makes for good radio if we keep doing this.
Great radio.
So, Logan, just share your mic. I think that one will pick most of it up.
Yeah.
So the story went. Logan took off on a perfectly running KTM 300 TPI bike, and George, you have one of these, right?
Yep.
I just heard you fall asleep.
No, that was my wife yawning.
So, you know how you take off on your bike and it's perfectly running when you take off and you go riding? Usually it's that way when you return, but these two collectively. So Logan, something happened, and he said it sort of ran on a little bit,
Yeah.
and it ran on to the point where it wasn't really running. And then when you stopped, did it smell?
Hot. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really hot and it kind of smelled like burnt up oil.
Okay, yeah. So you noticed that.
Yeah.
Were you in front of him?
I was behind him when he was riding, but I couldn't smell when he was riding. But when we stopped and we got off the bikes, I was like, I could smell it.
Okay, that's how bad it smelled.
Yeah.
Okay, so it refused to start, and then Logan went for help.
Yeah.
Hey, Jimmy.
Yes.
And I started pushing.
Right.
When these guys say it refused to start, did it crank freely or would it not crank over?
Oh, it cranked really free.
Seized?
It cranked really free. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, like no, not a lot of compression. Like
No compression.
I think they got it hot enough. It didn't seize. It never really seized, but I think they got it hot enough to like collapse the rings or just those. But Logan's claims it never. It was always running okay. It just kind of ran on. It never tried to lock up or never like you didn't have to give it extra gas just to get it to keep going.
No.
No. Okay. So then Logan goes for help. So this is where the story gets really interesting. At some point, did a bear come out of the woods?
No.
No bears. Okay.
No bears.
Did a crazy lady with a pitchfork come running after you?
No.
So how did you get that bike started?
I literally just started pushing it downhill and got coasting for a little bit, and I'm guessing the bike just cooled off just enough to get going.
So it was a bump start.
No, I didn't bump start it. I was literally pushing it down the hill.
And then you just pushed the button and
I
it
pressed
started
the
right
button
up.
and it boom, fired right up. And I was like, at this point, we were 10, 15 miles back into the desert.
Right.
You couldn't get a truck there. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna ride it as far as I can get it to hopefully get.
Oh,
it
you
back.
haven't seen Jimmy drive a truck. He get there. Yeah. Okay. So at that point the bike starts running. How long did it take for you to get it into sixth gear tapped?
Not very long.
Not. So
Not very long.
So
Okay.
explain the noises, and there is if everybody's just getting ready, it's like, oh geez, not another story. There's going to be some learning involved here, as I like to turn everything into a learning experience. Okay, so sixth gear wide open, trying to catch up to Logan to let him know that his bike's running again. We can go riding, right?
Okay, so how it went was I got the bike going. I was coasting down the canyon, and I had my helmet off, had my goggles off, and the bike fired. And so I just put it in like second, third gear and just started riding it easy down the hill for a while. And then we stopped. I put it in neutral, and the bike kept running, so everything was all right. So I threw my helmet, my goggles on.
This is how good KTM fuel-injected bikes are. They can barely run, but they'll keep running. So this thing is like nearly dead, and it's idling.
Yep.
Okay, amazing.
Yeah, and so I got on the bike. We kept riding, and everything about the bike was totally normal. Besides what Logan was saying, it was running on. You would give it gas, and it would the motor would keep going. Like after you let off the gas, like it would keep pulling after you would let off. And
I wonder if the or the throttle body is dieseling. Yeah,
it's injecting a bunch of fuel too to cool it.
Right. Yeah, like George is saying, he says it's injecting a bunch of fuel to keep it cool, to try to kind of keep it cool, and so there could be some of that, but amazing. So, but now are we at the sixth gear wide open yet?
Not yet. So, okay, this is where the story gets a little confusing. So, because I'm from Vegas, I'm not from Pahrump, so I don't really know where I was going out there.
Oh, you're gonna blame aliens, aren't you?
No. So my good cousin of mine, I'm in desert. I have absolutely no idea where I am.
Right.
He's sixth gear, just takes off on me.
Well, he's trying to get help.
So I was with him at this point.
Okay.
I was with him at this point. So homeboy here decides to take off through the desert, sixth gear wide open.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if I lose him, I have no idea where I am.
Right.
So I start following him sixth gear to stay with him.
See, we didn't get this part of the story, Logan. We heard that he came out of.
I didn't
want to hold him up.
I never looked backwards,
So
right?
I looked back and I went, oh, he's behind you pretty close. Okay, so I'll speed up because I didn't know what was going on with the bike, why it was started or anything, because we hadn't talked. And so I'm like, oh, he's right on me, a little faster, right on me, faster, still on me. Okay, so that's how we get to sixth gear quarter throttle, three-quarter throttle.
Yeah, we got it.
Okay,
And
can you
then,
can you can you explain the noises the bike is making right now?
It actually it was running like the only noises it sounded. It was making like a slight tinging noise, but it sounded like
If you so, what do you normally ride?
a Beta 430.
Beta 430.
Yeah.
So, were you the one that rode it at the last dog standing?
Yes.
You
I was.
okay? You were
Yeah, I
okay.
raced last
So
time
you
standing.
have time on the bike when it's running good and everything like that. And so but do you know what 2-stroke detonation sounds like?
It literally sounded like it ran out of gas.
Like it was going to run out. Oh,
Yeah.
when it finally died,
It
was
finally
like
died. Yeah.
it went.
It was,
Brr, brr, brr.
uh-huh.
I'm in my head. I'm envisioning like a rubber, like a molten molten metal, but actually like rubber, like the compression just decreasing until it finally fluttered its way out. Because once that thing popped, there was no running anymore. There's no power. Well, it could be a really really low compression engine because now it's using all of the chambers of the cooling system as part of the cylinder, the combustion chamber. So, okay, so it stopped, and then Logan, it was gone.
Yeah, it was done.
No, where did Logan go?
Logan? Oh no.
He finally came back.
Okay, so at this point, I got a little tired of eating dust for a long time.
Oh, so you're riding next to him?
No, so I passed him.
Oh,
So I passed him,
right.
and so yeah, I passed him, and then we were riding along this fence line.
Yeah, at some point there should have been like, hey, shouldn't we be worried about fixing this thing or before it just super grenades?
It was running fine. Like it was running totally fine, and then all of a sudden it just.
No, it wasn't. That wasn't fine.
It seemed fine at least.
There's not really a fine line between running fine and what was going on there.
It was running all right.
Yeah. Okay.
It was running all right, and then
if your bike stops running at some point, you know, like it doesn't really want to start, like you should really be careful with it because the curve of damage goes up. Let me tell you. So the moral of this story. So the other day, Trevor Hunter, who's on DBT, has our YZ250FX, has a little bit south of 80 hours on it, and when we just put a GYTR head on it, and it was kind of like, man, should we do the whole thing? And it's like, no, let's actually test this bike for durability. Let's just throw the piston and everything in it and put the head on. And we did not go with the higher compression piston. Had we gone with the higher compression piston, I would have absolutely decided to do the bottom end, do the press a new crank into it, but we didn't. And so he rode it. He probably put 4 or 5, 6 hours, more on it. And when he was out riding the other day, he was doing his motos, and he was out kind of riding he'd done his motos that he wanted to do, and then he was just kind of out playing around, kind of practicing, and he noticed it like making a noise. He started hearing some noises. And so it didn't stop running, didn't it? He just stopped and he called me and he goes, "Hey, what does a rod going out sound like?" Because I talked to him about like hey, this is at this time, and I would think that we should replace this or repair this. And so he stopped riding and called me. I said, "What is rod?" I'm like, "Well, it's usually a knocking noise." And he's like, "Okay, does it sound like," we talked about a little bit about descriptions of noises or whatnot. And so, I said, "Well, pull the, flywheel cover off and, turn the, because it's hard to tell though. You got to get it top dead center, and there's a lot of different things." But I said, "Well, no, wait a minute. There's one even easier thing to do. Get the oil filter out and pull the oil filter out and cut a slice of it out, and then pull the paper straight and look and see if in the V grooves, if there's a lot of metal." He did that, and sure enough, a lot of metal. Okay, now pull the ignition cover off and look and see if that stuff is sticking to the magnets. Like, because at that point, you could stick a magnet on it, but because the rod stuff is going to be magnetic. If it's your clutch, a lot of times that's aluminum and different things like this. But anyway, so he stopped riding. We checked it. And so the motor's in here on the bench, and yeah, the rod is gone. It's out. But it was just like kind of because especially on a 4-stroke, when that rod breaks or rod goes out, that gets really expensive. And on the 4-stroke, when the rod goes out, and now all of a sudden you've got a longer stroke a little bit, and it actually goes up. And so the knocking he might have been hearing it could have been on the big end of the rod itself, but the knocking he was actually hearing was the piston going up and touching the cylinder head very lightly. Because you think about the bearing goes away and that rod goes up just a little bit higher, and the squish band is really tight, and it just went tick, tick, and it's not like a slamming, but it was enough to make some noise. So when you're riding your bike and you hear something or it does something that's not normal, time to reassess the situation, and generally it means kind of
Jimmy,
stop
can
riding.
those guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Can those
Can
guys
they hear
all
you?
hear me?
I can relay it.
Well, what I was gonna say is that bike lost coolant at some point, right? There was some kind
Yeah,
of
Logan
cooling
for
failure.
sure. Logan's bike lost coolant. Yeah, they actually found that there was a dent in the in the radiator. The radiator, the what do you call it? The spigot, or where the radiator goes to the hose.
Yeah.
So the outlet.
Okay.
And there was
Well, what-
there was a dent there, and it probably leaked the coolant out past the clamp.
But what I was gonna say is those guys need to rely on a few more of their senses, and
A few more of their
smell,
senses.
like the smell. When you lose coolant, you smell that.
Did you smell any coolant,
know.
Logan? Logan, I asked Logan about this. He didn't smell any coolant, and he didn't. Maybe he got COVID and he can't smell anymore. I'm not sure. Yes, Bob.
But they also need to.
Stock compression piston that you put back in?
On the two, we'll get back to that question here. So, okay, so he didn't smell coolant. He didn't see any coolant on his boots.
But they need to, They need
Oh,
to
wait a
look
minute. Hold on.
around
Oh,
and
wait a minute.
smell.
Another.
They need to-
So
you know.
it was getting hot, so I dripped a little water on the radiator to see if it was like boiling,
Uh huh.
and then I saw some on my leg, so I was like, oh, probably just the sun.
That you
Stuff
dripped
that-
on. You know what? Here's the other thing that's funny about radiators, by the way, is when you run them out of coolant, they get cool. There's nothing hot going through them anymore. And if your motor's hot and your radiators are cool, you're in deep shit. It's just to put it bluntly. So okay, Bob, you're wondering about what?
Was the new piston that you put in the Yamaha
Stock
stock?
piston, yeah, not high compression or anything. It was just time. It was like I said, we kind of suspected that, and so I was talking with Trevor. I'm like, okay, so did anything during this bike's history contribute to this? Like, because this is when we're testing bikes. If he let it run low on oil, any durability stuff we do is no longer a factor of that motorcycle. It's a factor of, okay, the oil was run low for a little bit. And he didn't. And then so we just started talking about, like, what could we have done? Because we've gotten 100 hours on other, WR 250s and Yamahas and stuff that we've torn apart and looked at. And we've had little issues with the small end bearing on some of the older ones that was a kind of a known thing. And they've increased that. They've made that better. So we're trying to figure out, like, hey, what really caused this? And then he's like, so he rode the best in the desert, the World Championship Hare and Hound up in Tonopah. And there was some straightaways on that were really, really long. And he raced the 450 class on the 250X because they needed to do that for points. That's the way the points work up there. And he goes, do you think that had anything to do with it? And I'm like, nah, like racing a desert race, it's like, shouldn't. And he goes, well, but he goes, like, on that course. And I'm like, okay, because I rode the course. And I'm like, oh, yeah, there's some roads in there. So, like, I go, was it ever topped out in sixth gear? He goes, yeah, for a long time. And I go, like, rev limiter topped out? And he goes, yeah, quite a bit. And I'm like, well, like, what were you doing sitting on the rev limiter? Like, okay, so you didn't gear the bike properly, so that's this. But how long? He goes, well, I was trying to pass 450s. And he was passing 450. He finished pretty high up in the 450 class. And so I'm like, oh, that will contribute to some of the life. So the life expectancy just went down a little bit for that. So yeah, it depends on how you do it. So hey, George, I think I'm gonna let you go, unless you have any more expertise.
I want to still talk about these kids. I got expert advice for these kids.
Oh, okay. These kids that are sitting next to me.
Yeah, that did this $4,000 worth of damage.
$4,000?
No, it's not going to be that much.
How much damage?
One or two.
One or two.
Whatever I charge
Yeah.
for my
chump change for these kids these days because
You
that's
know,
like allowance money, right? Okay, George, what do you got?
The failure. This is my wisdom. The failure wasn't the coolant that leaked. The failure was them not slowing down to react to some of these warning signs that this thing gave them. I mean, like you said, if they would have just kept filling up that thing with water, they could have got home fine and fixed that radiator leak and all was well.
Right. Yeah. I guess I guess what we're gonna have to do. This is what we're gonna have to do, Logan. Is we're gonna have to test this. So what I propose is like George has a 300. So what we'll do is we'll take it and we'll just dump the water out and we'll go ride it and we'll find out like when because it may be so good at masking that symptom that we could find out if maybe you're to blame or we should just blame KTM for making a bike that runs with not very much coolant. But I did tell you about my buddy Dave who rode a whole year with no coolant in his CR250. Did I tell you?
No.
I didn't tell you this story? Yeah, well, this is a true story. He had a CR250 we used to trail ride on, and we pretty much boiled, I would say, most of the water out of it. And we kept going on rides because we finished the ride that it boiled out on, and he never filled it up, and then never filled it up and just rode it again and again and again. And then one time we said, man, this thing should be steaming because whatever I was on was steaming. And he's like, yeah, mine hasn't steamed at all. We touched his radiators and they were cold. Bike hadn't blown up, but the radiators were cold. I'm like, uh-oh. And so we put water in, and we put a lot of water in. And I was like, Dave, what the hell? And he's like, oh, it's been fine for all these times. I'm like, well, when was the last time you put water in it? I haven't checked it for a year. And it was like, hey, remember that time? So air-cooled bikes are, they're a thing. Usually they have fins around them and stuff like that. But yeah, that's what can happen. So
I think we need another segment where you can maybe get the smell of overheating radiator coolant and burnt oil and rich fuel and lean mixtures.
Oh, identify this smell segment. That works so good on the radio.
Do a blind test.
Yeah.
Yeah, do a blind test with Logan.
Right. Okay. I think
was a thing, wasn't it?
What was that?
Wasn't smell-o-vision a thing?
Smell-o-vision?
Yeah,
smell-o-vision.
They would pump
dirt bike
feeders
test,
with
scratch
smells, I
and
thought.
We'll send all the viewers scratch and sniffs, and they can play along at home.
There we go.
There you go.
Maybe that's our key to this, making this thing pop.
That's all I got to say.
Oh, hey, George, thanks for joining the show. We can't wait to have you back on here live, because Logan's not doing his job, and we're trying to find a replacement, but they're hard to find around here. All the kids around here are just into blowing up dirt bikes, and he's part of the club. Your sister, maybe.
Okay, see you guys.
Yeah, okay, George, see ya.
See you, George.
But I thought she crashed, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had a big one not too long ago, no?
Yeah, I separated my shoulder and fractured my elbow.
Oh, bad crashes. Okay, we got some more questions, or we get all the way through the bottom of this? I think we have a few more. I remember not reading some of these.
A couple big ones.
On the on some of this, if I sub, can I get a free taco or nah? He's on YouTube, right?
I tried to find it on YouTube. I couldn't find it again. I don't know what happened there.
What if you do they? Can you do like thumbs ups on YouTube or something like that?
No, I mean, but
can you do a taco? You throw him a taco emoji or something like that?
I can't do any of that on my laptop.
Right.
I believe.
Okay.
All I can do is smile according to my laptop.
Let's see. Nate needed a trusty Trailtech Voyager. That's right. If you would have had a Trailtech Voyager on your KTM 300 with the temperature thermometer on there. And the other thing about the Trailtech is they have the little lights at the top. There's an orange one and a yellow one. And you can program them at different temperatures to flash and then stay on. So I have mine set so that, like, I think, and I don't know the exact temperatures, I think at like 180 my yellow one comes on, and at 190 my red one comes on, and at 200 my yellow one starts flashing, and my at 220 or something like that the red one starts flashing. So you can program this in. That's what's kind of cool about this GPS. The old Voyager used to do the same thing, believe it or not. Even the little guy used to have some lights that you could make do interesting stuff. So hey, thanks for Jesse. Thanks for reminding us to pump that thing in there. And George has more emojis with double thumbs up. George, you have a taco emoji? I think that's what we need. Yeah, and Brian Horton, who by the way, another instructor at the school that moved up to Idaho to be a diesel mechanic, says, do they know what burning coolant smells like? Well, it's like just coolant in general when it comes out of the bike has a distinct smell.
It's like sweet almost, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
the
sweet
sweet smell of coolant.
Mm-hmm.
See, you guys are like all racers, and you think, oh, that's cool. That means I'm hauling ass.
Brian had another interesting point.
If it runs, you gotta ride. Deal with the consequences later. Is this the way it works?
Well, that was how I used to think.
Yeah, Bob.
So the official title for Logan is Loganated.
Loganated it. Yeah.
Again.
Yeah. Right. Let's see. KTM does need to be responsible for certain things, like their faulty stock cam chain tensioner. Whoo. I've actually had a cam chain tensioner fail. Yeah. Yeah. Lucky you didn't have a cam chain in that thing. That would have been really bad. I don't necessarily know that it's faulty. I mean, out of all the miles and all the time that thing had on there, I would just say it's kind of a wear part thing. And I'm honestly saying that. I mean, I wasn't like pissed off. I didn't like want to go back and go, I imagine if it was my only bike and it happened to me in 50 hours, I might be a little concerned. But if I would say, okay, that's just like one in a large number of them. But then if it happened again at every 50 hours, but I've had one on 3 different 350s that I've had one fail in 1,500 collective hours. So I'm just going to say that I know that this is an issue, but there's aftermarket stuff that you can fix it with if you are really concerned with it. So, yeah, next question. Logan?
He wants to do it.
Okay. Oh, you can
This
take
one
over.
right
Yeah.
All right, James Kikalesi, I don't know.
Oh wait, no, we're gonna say it properly. Lessy. That's it. Lessy. Yeah.
Great reviews, really the best. But what I take away from this review is that you're going to be another $7,500 to $10,000 into the bike after purchase just to bring it up to where it needs to be. And this is if you are handy and do most of the proposed work yourself.
He is talking about our KTM 390 modification thing. 75 to 10 grand. The wheels were 2. Nope. I would say you're dumping another 4. I'm just going to guess 4 to 5 total into it at most. But that's internet math. And I don't know that here's the funny thing is the modifications that we did, they were in response to, you don't have to do all of them, or you can do the ones that kind of collectively fit your needs, and so you don't have to do all of them, and you can kind of do the ones you need, and therefore it's really not that expensive. But the thing is that bike is kind of a bike that, if you want, it's designed for beginners, and we tried to make it work as a better, I guess, adventure bike for more experienced riders. We'll call them seasoned riders, would you say?
Yeah.
Smaller riders, so they can't just go get a high performance bike. So we're trying to make it a little high performance. So when you take the price tag, which isn't that much, I kind of forget exactly what it is, but I think it's like $7 grand maybe on that KTM 690. And then you add the $4 to it, you're at 10, which is still lower than, some of their bikes. You're at 10, 11. So, but that you have a bike that fits you and it performs quite well. So, yeah, you can see it in a couple different ways. And I think there's bikes that are a little less expensive that you get that might not need as many modifications, but they wouldn't perform as high as that one. So that's my answer, my reply. But thank you for liking our great review. And you're entitled to your opinion on that. And I think you're barking up the right tree for sure. What does Dan Reich want to know?
Grown if you have to modify any motorcycle that much it's easier not the either not the right motorcycle.
Did he just scare you into like going back like 2 grades levels in the reading department there, Logan?
Yeah.
Or do you want to blow it up? You want to make, is that print too small? Are you squinting? Your screen cracked? What do we got going on there? Okay. Hit it again. Grown.
If you have to modify any motorcycle that much is either not the right motorcycle for you, or you simply aren't in their target demographic. It would be interesting if you could evaluate the motorcycle from the standpoint of their targeted customer. Someone who's just looking for a fun and light adventure bike, and someone who wants something reliable so they are not stranded alone in the middle of nowhere.
Okay. I'm going to take that.
Ride like a beginner and tip over and stuff.
I'm going to take this. Oh, should be just like all the other Instagram influencer guys that are pumping out videos.
No, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Like you gotta start it for a beginner.
Yeah.
You gotta
Well,
ride like a beginner.
I'm going to take this question from the backwards. Someone who wants something reliable so they're not stranded alone in the middle of nowhere. We've got a fair amount of miles in that. I know other people that have a lot of miles on those things, and I have not heard of one of them leaving anybody stranded. So that's the one thing we probably haven't covered in detail, except for in this review, the modification review. We talk about how much we've ridden it. It's never done really anything wrong. So that's off the table. It would be interesting if you could evaluate the motorcycle from a standpoint of someone on their targeted customer. Well, we did. In the first video, we clearly, the short review and even the long test, we really talked about who this bike was targeted for, the beginner rider, and how for that rider it's a really, really good platform. And we did say, hey, we're dirt bike test, and a lot of us are more advanced riders, so this bike really isn't for us, but we're going to, later on we'll modify it into what you saw in this video. And if you have to modify the motorcycle this much, you're not the right motorcycle, or you're not in their target demographic. Tend to disagree, because there's certain people that fit into certain segments that the manufacturers are not going to build a bike for. If you're 5'7", you used to be 5'10", but now you're 5'7", you shrunk, or maybe you are a pretty capable, let's just say, smaller statue rider, male or female, I don't care, that has a hard time picking up a 450-pound motorcycle, something like this all of a sudden appeals to you, and not in its stock form. You want something, you would like a shrunk down 1090. Well, guess what? Or even a 790 or an 890 in the KTM line, or these other things. I mean, these people are not going to go look at the new Harley Davidson adventure bike and go, yeah, that's for me. They're like, what happens if it falls over? And this is a valuable concern, even for experienced riders, because once it falls over and you can't pick it up, well, guess what? Ride over. Or you flap your arms up and down, have your friends show up. I always wonder what it would be like to actually have friends out with me when I'm riding. Do you ever wonder about that? That's why I have to pick my motorcycle up. So Dan, yeah, groan all you want. I think we addressed it, and watch that. And I actually sent him a link to the early videos where we did this, and hopefully he's happy about that. Next.
All right, this is by S. Mackney. She says, sorry to hear about David and Scott's moose failure in the Tour of Idaho. Thank you for explaining why mooses can fail. You suggested why change tires halfway on the Tour of Idaho. I like that advice too. My question is, would you change the oil on your 501 on TOI if using OEM spec Bellray 10W50 EXS and stock filter? I wasn't planning to. We were retired on day 4 of the tour this year.
Good thing you retired, because imagine having to change your oil out in the tour. just teasing. You thought S. Mackney was a girl?
Or I just assumed.
That's good. I couldn't see through that. I didn't get that, but that's good.
I just had a feeling. I don't know.
I would not change the oil. I mean, even though it's a lot of hours and it's way beyond what the manual recommends and stuff, you're not really stressing it. Hopefully you're not. You can wreck oil with slipping the clutch and doing dumb stuff. But on the tour, you're really not doing anything that's putting that thing in that much of a, harm's way, unless you maybe, dented the radiator outlet tube and then it leaks the coolant out and then you don't notice it, even though it smells and it gets really hot. Then you would probably need to change the oil too, because you now had an oil-cooled motor, not a water-cooled motor. But if you're running, like I said, an oil that you're confident with, that you have a lot of time with, and it lasts in roughly the 2,000 miles that you're going to put on the bike in the Tour of Idaho, is really, I don't think, that big of a deal. And same thing, I do my filters generally every 2 to 3 oil changes is kind of my rough estimate. And if I drain out oil and I notice, and a lot of times I'll just put a little of my fingers, I can rub on it. You can kind of feel that it has some oil qualities. And I'm sure this is 40 years of experience in doing this. I've learned this, but so next time you take oil out of your tractor that's been in there for 4 years, just touch it and rub it, and just see, you can learn this. Anybody, I'm sure now you kids have to be really scared, because if you just touch it once, you could get cancer or something. I probably have like six different types, but at least I can tell whether oil's good or not. But I wouldn't worry about it too much. Not that if I had the opportunity to easily change the oil, after a certain amount of hours, whatever your amount of hours is. And if you like to run things on the rev limiter and like Trevor Hunter and just pin it and just, kill stuff like you guys, kids, then you should probably change your oil a little bit more. But if you're just riding around like me, nice and slow, just cruising around, smoking Ricky Brabeck anytime he comes out and tries to train here. I mean, that guy can't even keep up. So, then you can do it every 20 hours or something. So not an issue, maybe more.
Speaking of Trevor, he's actually in the chat, but he's under a certain alias that really confused me when I first saw the message.
Oh, he's using our corporate account to ask me if I'll ride the 24 hours of Glen Helen.
Correct.
No, I can't race anymore. My contracts are preventing me from doing this. Because I've won that race before. I don't know if he can say that, so I'm pretty sure start money. That's what it all comes down to, is start money.
There we go. I mean, if he wants
Trevor, really actually, he needs a really good guy that can ride a Yamaha to hop on his team. We've got some potential candidates, but they could win it. I mean, the 3 guys he has are all really good. I think they just need a 4th guy that's super solid, and those guys could put it all together. You guys are out because you blow shit up.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can't. You got to be able to know how to ride a bike nicely. Next question.
John Jackson, since you are a fan of small displacement bikes and adventure bikes, is there any chance of you testing a bike that checks both of those boxes? The new Honda Trail 125. After all, you once raced a Honda XR 100 in Baja. This could be a great content as long as you don't take it too serious.
Well, I would take that serious. I could probably go have fun on the Honda Trail 125. We actually had one, Mark Kaplikoff, and he posts a lot of stuff on our Instagram channels about that bike. It never made it out here to Nevada. I told him to ride it out here, but he resisted. He didn't think riding down the 15 freeway was a good idea on that particular bike. I told him, why ride in the freeway, ride in the dirt. But I never saw it, so yeah, I want to actually just go do some adventure riding on a proper adventure bike. And yeah, I raced the XR 100 in Baja, but that was to do stupid stuff. That's a pretty trick bike. You've seen that thing out there?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They got it all cleaned up. It's going up in the school in the circle garage. It's going up on the rafter. Yeah, it's ready to go. I need a couple buddies to help me. We're gonna put it in the bucket in the little tractor and lift it up there. But like, I didn't realize how much you have to pay buddies. Because I thought your buddies would come over, but evidently, yeah, like I heard buddies are expensive on when you rent them and stuff. I had this buddy named John. This guy, remember Big John? That's how that log got up in the air. Yeah, and then evidently we're not buddies, but I don't hang out with Yeah, not sure where he's at these days. Yeah, he's like all secretive about it and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
He's not in jail though.
He's not in jail.
He's not in jail.
Not in jail.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That's good. Yep.
Matt
Does he have a bracelet on or anything like that? Collar?
Maybe around his ankle, but I'm not 100% sure.
Matt Watson. Hey guys, what are your thoughts on the new CRF 250R? Would you describe as more of a pro engineer characteristic? How does it compare to the YZ250F? Are you guys doing any type of shootout this year? Also, durability updates on the 250Fs. Thanks.
Matt Watson. So we have impressions up on the website right now about both of those particular bikes. We compare it as much as we can, based on not actually having them back to back, but having ridden and spent a fair amount of time, especially Trevor, on those bikes, we did kind of talk about it. And I would describe the CRF 250R as a more pro or advanced engine character. In fact, most of the 250Fs, I would say all of the 250Fs except for the Yamaha have a pro biased power delivery. In other words, it's really focused on running it high on the RPMs, making your shifts on time. They're more like old 125s used to be. You have to make shifts. The one thing about the Yamaha is you can actually let it lug down a little bit more and use a little bit of torque. And all the other ones are really shooting to get better at that, and they have, especially the Honda. The Honda made a huge improvement there. But I would still say that, and I couldn't say for 100% certain unless I rode them back-to-back on exactly the same track, but I would say that the Honda, does a much better job. And he asked about, I think he also, in some posts, he asked how it compared to the Kawasaki, which I think has, definitely kind of made a little bit more robust, kind of mid-range, lower part of the mid-range compared to the Kawasaki used to not rev that much at all in the old. I think it wasn't much of a rever, but then they made it into a rever, and same thing, they lost a little bit. But the Yamaha is kind of, just because of the engine architecture, seems to be a step above in that area. Durability, I don't know anything specific about any of those bikes being more or less durable. I think if they're used and maintained properly and you're doing what you're supposed to do, they're all going to be just fine. They're all going to be the same. So, do we do shootouts? Have you seen us do shootouts? Well, we've done comparisons, not shootouts. But we're actually talking about doing it with the off-road ones, all of the 250 off-road ones, the FX, the KXX, hopefully one of the KTM gas Huskies of their FXs. And we did that in the past, like few years back. So we'll see. Next.
Mike Zibrick. I'd like to hear your answers from the whole panel. What is your go-to snack on the trail? Mine is usually apple and protein bar, and try to keep an extra bar in case I break down and have to hike out. Also, what's the weirdest snack you've seen someone have? I ride with a guy that usually packs a bean burrito in his pack for 4 hours. I'm going to guess Logan doesn't pack anything, and he assumes kissing his girlfriend, looking at sunsets, somehow gives him calories.
Okay, go around the horn. What's your snack?
Oh, no, not anymore. But
Yeah, say it.
no, it's not.
Can you get a little closer to the mic?
No, it's not salmon. It's not salmon. When I was 5, it was salmon. That was
Really?
my
Like
go-to
smoked
snack.
salmon or?
Yeah, like smoked salmon.
Oh, don't worry. I'm
like,
going to tell you
out of
about
the
Crazy
bag.
Nate.
Acceptable, though.
There
Smoked
was, like-
salmon's delicious.
They used to make it in bags, and that's what I would eat going down the road. But not anymore. Not anymore. I got really big into mountain biking for a while. And they make the company Cliff Bars.
Uh-huh.
They make these little. They're like little chewy gummy vitamin things.
Yeah, little shots.
Yeah, the little
Something.
shots, and they have
Yeah.
like 200 calories per shot.
Yeah.
So I'll take a couple of those, and it's like an instant energy shot. Like so that's normally what I will take with me.
Logan?
Definitely
Uh,
can't be.
A phone.
He takes a phone.
Phone and water.
And that's it.
Can of beans.
A
A can of
Oh.
beans.
2 years ago, I had a chili in a can rolling in my backpack all summer long.
Did you eat it?
Yeah, ate it off the muffler. Like,
Oh, warmed it up with the muffler? Yeah, that's.
There you go.
I carry Kate's bars, so I carry Kate's bars with me. That's my kind of go-to because I can. They're good. They taste good, and they're a lot. Some of them have a lot of calories in them, and they're just. I like to eat something that tastes good. I'm kind of like a camel. I don't really eat that much or carry that much stuff, but I like to have food. But when I know I'm going to go riding all day long, I'll do. And I'm kind of known for like wrapping up pizza in tinfoil and just stuff it in my backpack, so that goes a long way. But the weirdest snack I've seen someone have is Crazy Nate pulled out the can of sardines. Oh my God, I had to run away. That stuff stunk.
Aforementioned Big John.
Yeah, there's people that like the sardines. I'm like, good grief. Like, so Matt, what do you got?
Well, it used to be beef jerky, but
Oh, beef jerky's good too.
yeah, but lately, I've been running a lot, so now I'm all in on the gels, and I'll use like electrolyte capsule, like little pills.
Prepping and having the little capsules and stuff, the salt caps and the caps. Don't stab yourself with that knife that was stuck in there, right? Okay, good.
took it out.
I'll show you something else that I stick in my backpacks all the time. Logan's doing a box.
Okay, the way he's using that knife is
Yeah, you're scaring me too. Yeah, I let him open a box and it's like it's go to. I could get my neck slit.
I didn't know Michael Myers was next to you.
Use the knife, cut everything up. What do we got in the box? This is our open the box segment.
Oh,
Every time we open up something that shows up around here in the box,
Can be brought to you by a company, by your company if you choose.
Matt's gonna sell you on the open the box segment. What do we got?
Red Bulls.
Red Bull gives you wings. Here, I'll hold the bottom there.
Oh.
They have to package it like that because the guy chucks it over my fence and they get kind of dented. What does that say right there?
If you're going to post, please disclose you got hooked up.
We got hooked up.
Oh wait, that's right.
We got hooked up.
Is it?
I think that's.
What's in the box brought to you by Red Bull?
It's brought to you by Red Bull tonight. So we got hooked up.
I think that's what you're not supposed to say.
Please disclose. That means let them know. If you're gonna post, let them know.
Oh.
Because it's at Red Bull and it gives you wings. So don't read the rest of that part because that's not for the disclosure. But look, now he wants to read it.
So I'm a little confused. Are you sponsored by Red Bull or Monster or
Both. Just depends on the day.
Okay.
Depends on what day it is. It depends on who's hanging out, who's around.
Right. Well, it's
Different-
like Ricky and Andrew both are Monster guys, right? So,
Yeah, they're Monster guys. So when they're here, the Red Bulls aren't around.
Oh, there we go.
It's just different times. This is from a long time ago. I got this back.
Oh, okay.
I got kicked off the team, not by my choice.
Oh, that's right. You were a Red Bull athlete at one point, huh?
No, I'd never Red Bull athlete. I just helped them with events. I did events back when they picked Dakar rider team.
Okay.
So, but then someone clipped my wings, as it were.
Oh no.
Because I was having them delivered to the office I used to work at.
Yeah.
And they didn't like it, even though everybody else in the office liked it because we had a Red Bull fridge.
Uh-huh.
And that's why I want a small refrigerator right here, Logan. Remember we talked about this?
Yeah.
You
You
haven't told you where to go find one out in the desert?
you did, and then we never looked.
Okay.
Times we went.
Well, because the bike was blown up.
Yeah,
How could you
can't
get out
go
there?
can't go riding with you on your XR your girl your wife or your sister's CRF 125. Because that's all he's got anymore now.
Yeah.
He's really limited.
That one's dirt bike, and
You broke mine.
I did. But
Oh, is it broken?
I guess. I
Kinda.
don't know.
Oh, the beta.
yeah.
Yeah, it's broken
I don't know.
right
I
now.
looked into it, but it didn't start.
Oh, geez.
It's had a couple crosses.
Whatever's happened.
Okay. No Red Bulls for you.
Apparently no Red
Those are
Bulls
all
for
for
you
me.
either.
It's all for me. Okay, we have one more question.
Yeah. Okay. Aglee _ Owlet Bean McSteen _ the _ meme _ machine. Biker girl fan. Check out my sexy video.
And with that, we're going to have to shut the show down. So thank you, everybody, for joining in. George likes the peanut butter and honey sandwiches for him and Jim. Yeah, sardines seem to rank up pretty high up there. You guys are all sick. I'm not going to ride with you. Fruit cake is supposed to be the new energy bar. Yeah, I used to Spam. Believe it or not. Yeah, Spam. When I was ultra running, I used to do Spam, and sometimes I'll carry that in my pack as well. But nothing beats a Red Bull and a pizza. So good for joining in, everybody. Like I said, if you have your questions, for sure, post them on this video on Facebook when you ask the questions. Thanks for coming in, Bike Blow Up Guy.
Yep.
That was
Us.
him.
He started it, right?
He did start it, yeah.
He started it was the problem.
Oh yeah, and then he started it. Yeah, and then they kept riding it. Yeah.
There we go.
We'll
Please share if you like what you see.
yeah. So share these videos with everybody. Let us know if you find ways that we can improve it. Go ahead and let us know, and then we'll do the exact opposite. If you know a way to do something on the YouTubes that's going to get us like the 1.5 million, that's what we're up to now.
Sure.
Yeah, so that just let us know about that. We're gonna have some pretty interesting stuff to announce next week. I thought it was gonna be this week, but
I thought it was gonna be this week too.
we got behind, so we have some new sponsors coming on board with the show, and some pretty good programs that are gonna help us kind of keep bringing this stuff to you. And if you want to come in and wear the taco hat, just let us know a stupid story that you've done, and that's where we're going. So Mark Stewart says, Laura bars. There are so many bars out there now.
Laura bars, I've had those.
Yeah, Kate's.
I can't have too many Lar bars.
No.
We've had Kate from Kate's Bars on the show. Actually, she just did a ride across Idaho. She did almost a tour of Idaho kind of thing. It's a different ride across Idaho with a few other girls, which is a pretty cool thing. She's a gnarly dirt biker. So, okay. Thanks for the studio guests for showing up. Bob, did you fall asleep tonight during the show?
Yes, he did.
Yep. Why didn't you let us know? We could have woke him up.
Oh, I was texted photo evidence.
I posted it.
Got it. It's posted on the show.
I said, George asked something about Bob, and I said, he's asleep.
Yeah.
We'll include it. We'll include the picture next week.
And you're running the closing music right now?
No, not right now.
Not right now. And just for anybody, in case they're concerned, Husaberg's 570s for life. We'll see you out in the trail.